Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will not be your Dungeon Master today. Instead, after about a month delay, I am finally returning to be playing Rufus Burrows again, the little halfling hobbit. That's proprietary. In the game run by my good buddy Arlen Walker. So Arlen, why don't you I'll pass it over to you. You do the rest of the introductions, and I'll continue on eating a little snack here.
All right. So as Kevin said, we are playing the One Ring once again. We are playing, so if you remember what happened last time, our heroes met each other, formed a fellowship in Roscabel, and ended up traveling to meet Thranduil to gain his support to fight an army of orcs and to save Woodman Town down here from this army of orcs. They fought a battle, killed an orc chieftain. There was celebration for everyone. But time stands still for no one.
Cider all around.
Cider all around. It was wonderful. But even in the long and eventful lives of the elves, things are passing that they have not seen in many ages. For the past 4 years, that story occurred in 2946. Our story will begin in the spring of 2951 of the Third Age. For the past 4 years.
What's the time difference?
5 years. 4 years.
Okay.
4 years of adventures that we didn't cover.
3, sir.
All right. In that time, our heroes have been to a number of different places throughout the Wilder Land. They have seen the Elven King's Halls, seen Esgaroth and Dale and Erebor, the Lonely Mountain that was reclaimed from the Dragon Smog. They have been to Beorn's house. They have perhaps seen the giant eagles flying out of the Eagle's Eyrie. And of course, they have been in Roscabel, the home of Radagast the Brown. And just because I have his picture here, why don't I show Radagast to you guys? Radagast the Brown, one of the Istari, the wizards. Actually, let's do this. Let's have everybody make a lore roll at TN 16. And those of you who succeed will get a little more information about Radagast.
Okay. Just framing our illustration here. So what am I doing here? Lore?
Lore TN 16.
Lore. That's not exactly my forte.
That didn't work very well. Yeah. I have no lore. I know nothing.
No lore.
I know some things.
But Baranor does know something. Orphan and Rufus.
I do not.
Rufus. No, Rufus,
Yes,
you succeed because you rolled a Gandalf.
That's
So
right.
to remind everyone how this works, every time you roll, what you roll is a combination of a 12-sided die called a feat die, and it has numbers 1 through 10, as well as an Eye of Sauron and a Gandalf rune on the sides. Then you also roll a certain number of success dice, which are the 6-siders, based on the level of your skill. Normally, we compare the total numbers shown over all of the dice, added up, summed together against a target number, and that tells us whether you succeeded or failed. An Eye of Sauron rune is worth 0 points. A Gandalf rune is worth an automatic success. So we have a great example with Rufus here. Because he rolled a Gandalf on his feat die, he gets an automatic success on this lore issue.
Me Pappy always said that was a good example.
Oh, no.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So everyone except Cleona has succeeded. And in fact, Baranor and Orphan, both of you have succeeded with extraordinary successes. So if you remember, if you beat the target number or rolled a Gandalf, and you rolled a 6 on one of your 6-siders, 1 6 is a great success. 2 6s is an extraordinary success. And that basically is a In combat, there is a mechanical benefit to rolling those types of successes. In these role-playing situations, it is up to me to determine what extra benefit you get. But I'm going to tell you, Rufus, what you know is that there are several Istari. There's also another one who lives in Isengard, which is right around here. And you, in fact, know that Cleona is... it's not actually on the map, but down at the base of the Misty Mountains. Cleona is from that area. And that is the wizard Saruman. There is another...
I like him.
A wandering wizard known as Mithrandir or Gandalf, who perhaps you have even seen in the Shire, and you may have even heard that Bilbo Baggins, perhaps the most famous hobbit in Middle-earth, was sent out on a quest by this Mithrandir.
This Mithrandir, has he been near Rosgobel?
He has not visited. You haven't seen Saruman or Gandalf in your 4 years of time, but you know that they exist.
Right.
Orphan and Baranor, what you know is that the Istari are not, despite having the shape of men, they are not human. They are actually Maiar, which Maiar, there are tiers of essentially the higher order of beings, the highest order being the Valar, and there is one evil Valar whose name we shall not repeat, and a set of good Valar. Beneath the Valar are the Maiar, and the Maiar can take physical form, but can also exist as spirits that influence the world. And the 5 Istari, you know, are all Maiar who have existed since the very beginning of creation.
Cool.
Bunch of superstitious nonsense.
And Cleona, you don't know any of that. You know about the existence of a wizard named Saruman, but you don't know really anything about him. You know that he lives in a black tower near your homeland. But yeah, and you hear that sometimes he takes long walks in the haunted wood of Fangorn Forest. But like most wizards, you would rather avoid this Saruman.
Yeah.
So in the 4 years...
And one quick question. If does the fact that Gandalf has been seen in places like the Shire as of late, meaning the last couple of centuries, and that the other Istari are around, say, signal anything to Orphan and I that there's more going on in the world, like we're coming to some kind of crucial moment? We
are, in fact, going to get into that, because that is very much what this adventure is about in many ways.
Awesome.
So,
you guys, you're always so serious.
In the 4 years,
things I've seen.
In the 4 years that we are skipping over, you have adventured all over the different parts of the Wilder Land. We talked about all the places you've been. You have also experienced hardship and been beset by evil. All of you realize that you have on some level been touched by the shadow, and you have lost some of the hope that buoyed you in your first adventure. You are perhaps grimmer, perhaps wiser and more valorous, all of you, but it is a darker, sort of dimmer world that you look out upon than the bright future that you saw those years ago. So we are going to start with a fellowship phase, and we're going to do in the order of cameras that I have on my screen. So Rufus, for the winter of 2950 to 2951, what would you like to do for your fellowship phase?
I'm just looking to see what I can do with there and back again, or with
there and
corruption.
Heal corruption is so. Are you looking in the Adventurer's Companion?
I'm looking in. It's directed me to the Rivendell book.
Yeah, for there and back again. That's
right.
Where. Yes.
I recover hope. So maybe help me decide this. What's the difference between getting a point of shadow? What's the advantage to getting rid of shadow and regenerating hope?
So mechanically, the way that hope and shadow work is they're essentially two bars that will grow closer and closer together as you are touched by the shadow and lose your hope.
Right.
When they meet, when you have the same amount of shadow as you have hope, you will go into despair and you will be in essentially a deep melancholy. If at that point, on any of the rolls that you make, you roll an Eye of Sauron on the feat die, a 1 in 12 chance to roll that Eye of Sauron, remember, you will have a bout of madness where you will lose control of your character for some amount of time and will act out on your worst or least heroic impulses. You may flee from battle. You may steal or lie or cheat or do all of the different things that during a bout of madness would be bad.
Right.
To do. After a bout of madness, you take 1 point of permanent shadow, and your temporary shadow reduces to 0. So
Right.
your shadow.
So if I get a point of permanent shadow from there and back again, does that clear my shadow out as well?
No.
Oh, well, that's bullshit.
But you get. So the question is, how much shadow could you get rid of versus how much hope could you get?
Right.
From,
So my starting score of hope is 17.
so you'll get 6 hope back.
Right, which would put me over the maximum.
I think it put you at your maximum because you're at 11.
Oh, I'm pretty hopeful.
Yeah. So you could go there and back again and be at full hope and take 1 permanent point of shadow.
Right.
Or
I could roll my song and try and get rid of shadow.
And try to get rid of some of the temporary shadow. Yes.
Right. I think that you should maybe see if anyone else has their mind made up, because I don't know yet.
Okay, that's just fine.
Right.
Cleona, Jonathan, you are next on my order of cameras. Would you like to do your fellowship phase now?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
So,
Somebody
Cleona.
prepared.
So in the time between there and now, Cleona has actually decided to find a person and settle down with, and have a child. But in the medium, like the last 2 years, they had died, and she only has the child left, which kind of helped make her resentful, which she got from the shadow. So she has to rely on others to care for the child as she goes about in adventures to, earn money. And that is going to be naming her heir.
Naming her heir.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's a great thing. So you select your heir, your child, and you gain 1 point of hope.
Yes.
Does this heir have a literal name?
Yes, we're going to call her Andrea.
Andrea, another, presumably, is Andrea a full-blooded Dunlending, or did Cleona find someone of a different culture?
She would have, the Baranor, I think, to the north, the Beornings.
The Beornings.
She would have found somebody up there.
Okay. Where does the daughter live?
With the Beornings.
With the Beornings.
Yeah.
Excellent.
They're the most physically fit and able to take care of themselves, so that's where she would leave them.
All right. Have you added your point of hope?
I have. Not
Excellent.
myself. Yep, it's there. Okay.
Excuse me. So, Orphan, we're going to change the music over. I'm sorry, listeners at home, you don't get to hear Howard Shore's music from the Lord of the Rings films that we get to hear. Although, I will tell you, all of the music that I'm using is on the Fellowship of the Ring soundtrack, so you could just put that in and have it playing in the background while you listen if you like. Orphan.
Is it playing now?
I switched over to the Lorien soundtrack.
I'm not hearing it.
You set the rate in your cog, raise the master music volume level.
Yeah,
Yeah, and roll 20.
not doing it.
Nothing?
Oh, there it is. Yep, I hear it now.
Hey, excellent. Orphan, we talked a little bit about your fellowship phase. What are you thinking of doing?
Well, I've decided that in my somewhat concerned and stricken state that I'm going to make the journey to Lothlorien and seek the fellowship and guidance of my kin, and with any luck, track down Galadriel.
Excellent. Excellent. So you are going to travel into the wood of Lorien here. And I have a picture of Lorien, I think Lothlorien right here. Let me show to players. Show to everyone.
Nice.
Cool.
That's awesome.
You can heal corruption. So Roscabel will be a sanctuary for you, yes. So you can roll twice to heal corruption in Roscabel. So Lothlorien here. Lothlorien is a forest that is guarded by Celeborn and Galadriel, the king and queen.
I hear there's a witch that rules these woods.
Full of malorn trees, these great trees that the elves live in. Orphan, your fellow elves, these are kin to you, although, of course, you are a Mirkwood elf, not an elf of Lorien.
Mm-hmm.
So you will go, and in your stay over the winter in Lothlorien, you will have an opportunity to see Celeborn, who is the king, and the woman who, when you see her, you cannot help but think that she is the most beautiful woman you have ever laid eyes on, and that is the Queen Galadriel herself. But there is something else that happens to you too, and that is that there is another woman that you see, and if you could not help but think that Galadriel was the most beautiful woman you had ever seen, this woman, you think, must be at least her equal, although where Galadriel is blonde, she has dark brown and sections. It's hair that is much darker. So Orphan, there's the lore roll. Orphan, you can roll song or craft to heal shadow.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking that song is the way to go. I've got this little melody that's been going around in my mind, and with the tales of our travels, I will recount them in song.
Orphan, the songs of the elves of Lorien, they stir you, but what you have seen in these intervening years is too much to be easily washed away by song. Rufus, you have a similar experience in Roscabel, staying at the home of Radagast the Brown. There are songs sung, there is cider drunk. It is a wonderful and a peaceful time. But what you have seen and what you have experienced is just too much to be removed by what you can only describe as sort of almost petty frivolities.
Well, I think that mostly my mind is on me Pappy. He's Pappy Burrows. I haven't seen him in years now. And the more time I spend out here, the more things I'm seeing, but the more I feel like my heart's back home rather than here.
Yeah.
These people are fine people, but the eaves of the Burrows orchards, that's what I long to see again. We've got someone in chat, too, who's just put on the Lord of the Rings music as background.
Oh, excellent.
Nice. And so finally we come to George as Baranor Nuin Gileath.
Yes, exactly. Under the stars.
And
Son of Baradel.
Yeah, and I told you didn't get to choose what you did because
But
I have.
I love it. I would have chosen it.
Excellent. So you travel down the great river of the Wilderland, the Anduin. This is the northern branch of the Anduin that runs through the center of the Wilderland. And Lorien down here, further past Lorien, is a place called the Argonath. And I will read to you from the professor himself's description of the Argonath, what you see.
Cool.
Towards them, the great pillars rose like towers to meet him. Giants they seemed to him, vast gray figures, silent but threatening. Then he saw that they were indeed shaped and fashioned. The craft and power of old had wrought upon them, and still they preserved through the suns and rains of forgotten years the mighty likenesses in which they had been hewn. Upon great pedestals founded in the deep waters stood two great kings of stone. Still with blurred eyes and crannied brows they frowned upon the north. The left hand of each was raised palm outwards in a gesture of warning. Upon each head there was a crumbling helm and crown. Great power and majesty they still wore, the silent wardens of a long-vanished kingdom. Awe and fear fall upon you, Baranor, under the enduring shadow of the sentinels of Numenor. And I have an image that I can share. The Argonath, show to players. This is what you see.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a little bit different between the books and the movies.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but it's
It's the same idea. Different king is up there.
same idea. A different king, yes.
And
this
cool.
is, you can tell that this is from the movie because Elendil, who I believe it is Isildur and Anarion in the books, not
That's right.
Elendil and Isildur.
Yeah.
Elendil is carrying Narsil, his sword, rather than an axe.
Yes.
So it's a little bit different, but this gives you an idea of the scale and the majesty of what you see. And in the presence of the Argonath, you will make a song roll at TN 14 to recover.
I had a question for you, which
Yeah.
is that there is a ranger fellowship undertaking where that's very similar, where you do a heal corruption test using travel by going to a place like this that is a sacred place. Would that apply here? In this case,
George knows my notes better than I do because that is in my notes that I wrote down a month ago. But yes,
I'm
that
just
sounds
min-maxing.
excellent. Yes, that
cool.
sounds perfect.
Okay, great. I'm a lot better at travel. All right, here we go. TN is 14, correct?
Yes, TN 14. Give me a second. I have to.
I have faith in you, Baranor.
We shall see what happens. I'm standing in the presence of these great kings. I do not know if I am worthy.
You look at the hell out of those statues.
I love having Burrows around. I have like the lowest self-esteem of anybody, but Burrows.
So they're all the cheerleader. Go on!
Exactly.
You
He's
can
like
do it.
literally buoys my spirits, which I think is what the hobbits do in the
Yeah,
stories.
that is exactly what hobbits do. All right, are you gonna roll?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right, I'm back.
Okay, I did it with a
Nice
over the screen,
job.
so
Twice.
he'll reduce it by shadow by 4.
Yes.
Cool. I feel like I have not only do I still have my oath to carry out the work that these great kings began, but that I can actually make a difference. Whereas before I had felt like I had lost, I was not in my destiny to have a hand in the outcome of this time of shadow.
Yes. So, furthermore, one of the things that happens is that for whatever reason, this winter, all of your thoughts return to what sent you out into the world originally. And let's go around and talk about what we came up with last time for what pushed you out into the world. So, Rufus, do you remember?
I think there was a blight that was affecting Pappy Burrows' orchard.
And
that was right, wasn't it? I was going to see. I heard there was a wizard who could help with the blight. Does that sound right?
that I'm pretty sure that's exactly correct.
Yeah.
Cleona?
Has that wizard got to it yet?
Yeah, Cleona
The wizard has
decided
more important
to
things.
go away from her original people because she realized how bad they were, and she had seen things and shadows in the night, and she was going to go to Radagast to report what was going on and seek them out, from what I remember.
And Orphan?
Yeah, I mean, Orphan was carrying on the work of his people, keeping the dark forces at bay, and to the north of the elf path through Mirkwood, he kind of just patrolling, keeping a lid on things, and taking word of his work to allies and stuff like that. He was he would do this through the use of songs and kind of telling tales, you know. And
Yeah. Excellent. And Baranor, do you remember what it was?
Yes. So I was in the Coldfells, journeying through,
This
and
area?
yes, and I thought that I spotted a rider in black, which reminded me of figures I know about from history, and so I was seeking Radagast's counsel.
Yes. And Rufus has something to add.
Well, I was thinking more about the lack of success on my shadow roll, and I think that seeing the big and grand problems that all these lot are dealing with, and the problems that are besetting the people of the woods, I think he feels a bit foolish to be worrying about the problems of Pappy Burrows. But at the same time, his whole world and his Pappy's world is that orchard. So while there's things affecting the wider world out here, things that are much bigger than hobbits, metaphorically and literally, he can't help but think that there's still this whole world that's coming crashing down as that blight spreads.
Yeah.
So he's feeling both a bit the connection with his Pappy and feeling foolish for thinking it's so important. He's conflicted.
Yeah. I think all of you are probably a little conflicted and a little surprised when you think about the path that fate has led you on to this point. How could you have imagined those years ago? 5 years is not a long time in the life of someone like Orphan, but for Baranor and Cleona and Rufus, it is a real meaningful chunk of time. And you have been throughout the Wilderland, and you have fought the forces of shadow and done all of these things to help preserve the free peoples in the Wilderland. How could you have known that that's where your path would lead all those years ago?
That's right.
And here now, in the spring of the Third Age 2951, you reconvene in Roscabel. And if there's anything you'd like to share with the Fellowship, you should do so now.
Hello, me lovelies. I've missed you lot.
Clearly looks down at Rufus like, you're shorter than I remember.
Hey,
The
well, we don't
feeling
get...
is mutual, Rufus. The
I think me
feeling
pappy's drinking every year, so I hope it's not hit me yet. Good to see you too, Orphan. How was seeing the elves?
I fear there may not have been enough cider. I've grown accustomed to the merrymaking of the folk of this part of the world, and as lovely as Lorien and its inhabitants are, I was unable to shake my malady, and it's with a heavy heart I return. But there is work to be done.
What me pappy says, when you can't shake a cold, try drowning it.
I shall ponder that for.
Come and ponder it. I might have saved just a keg of pappy's finest for you.
Ah, that's most kind. I may begin the drowning shortly.
Hi. Hello, Baranor.
Hi, Rufus. I traveled a great distance to look upon kings of great stature in every possible way, but seeing you, even of your very stout stature, it gives me as much pleasure as seeing the kings of my lineage.
Oh, I'm glad to see you too, Baranor. How are your kings?
They seem like they have seen better days, my young friend.
And you, Cleona, how's your daughter?
Well, she's about your size right now. She's living up with the Bjornings at the near Bjorn's house.
Ooh, she's going to be a fierce one, I have no doubt.
Oh yes, Cleona actually has quite a few more little notches on her forearms from more orcs that she's slain over the years, and she's taking a bit of red tattooing going on now to go with the blue.
Cool.
I think
She looks a
everyone.
bit wilder.
Yeah.
Are you planning on working as a bartender?
No, a split skulls, not kegs.
A few more lines in the face, a little grimmer, a little quieter than you were the first time that we met these characters.
Right.
And these more somber, but wiser. And I think that's worth emphasizing because everyone has gained a fair number of advancement points and experience points to gain, in most cases, valor and wisdom, as well as a number of skills. So you will not, if you remember, one of the ways that you use hope is that you can spend a point of hope to add either your base or your favored attribute to a roll.
Right.
Once you have better skills, hopefully you don't need to do that as much. And so young, inexperienced characters depend on their good spirits. Older and wiser characters rely on the skills that they have gained through adventuring, and you are older and wiser.
Arlen, before we go on, would you mind explaining how traits work?
Traits work. Traits, that is a great question. Traits work.
That's what me pappy always said. Boy, you have great questions.
There are 3 core ways that traits work. One is that you can have an automatic success. An automatic success meaning that rather than rolling, or perhaps I think there's a roll that later on I'm going to make you make, but if you have the Shadow Lore trait, you will succeed at it automatically, but I want to see what happens.
Specialties?
Specialties. So this counts for both your specialties and your distinctive features. They work essentially the same way. They're both traits. They just have, they're earned slightly differently. So traits, automatic success on something that you think you ought to be good at. So for instance, Orphan, you have keen-eyed as one of your distinctive features. So if you were trying to, say, find tracks in the forest of Mirkwood of a party of orcs, and you said, I think because I'm keen-eyed, I ought to get it automatically, I would probably say, yes, Orphan, I think you can find those tracks without making a roll because you're keen-eyed. The second way traits work is to allow you to take an action when otherwise you wouldn't be able to. And this is a little more complicated because this is in, for instance, a situation where I am narrating something happening. If you think that because of one of your traits, you should be allowed to do something, you should interrupt me and say, I want to do X thing. So let me see if I can. Here's a good example. Cleona has bold. So, Jonathan, if I am narrating something and you think Cleona wouldn't stand for this, you can say, because I'm bold, I want to do something. And I can say, well, yes, I think because you are bold, you can do that. Or I can say, no, this is my story. It's going to go the way I narrate it. But it probably won't be the second one. I'm very open to using traits. Finally, and this doesn't matter as much for us, but for long-term campaigns, traits can give you an advancement point on a success. So normally, one of the things you can see on your character sheet is on the right of all of your skills. Every skill has a skill group, and there are 3 dots next to each skill group.
Oh, yeah.
When you get a success using a skill from that skill group, you can fill in a dot. Normally in one session, the maximum number of dots you can fill in for each skill group is 3. So let's say you're really good at awe. You can only get at most 3 advancement points from succeeding at awe, even if you use it 12 times.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to get a chance to use it 12 times, but
Yeah.
that's the idea. If you have a trait that you think applies to your use of awe, then you could say, I think that because I succeeded at this thing, instead of filling in one of those dots, I should just get an advancement point straight away. And there's no limit to how many of those you can get. So playing towards your character's traits allows you to advance significantly quicker.
That's cool.
So advancement points aren't really necessary for us because we're not playing a serious long-term campaign. I just gave you as many advancement points as I felt like was reasonable based on.
You only got that half
adventuring.
right. I say you only got that half right.
What's the half?
You make that decision.
Okay.
If it's not a campaign.
Anyway, so that is how traits work. I have a PDF with guides to trait usage so that you can't use determined over and over and over again, basically. Serious and long term.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a guide to trait usage that I can send to you guys if you would like to see it. And I'll do that after.
Oh, that's a good explanation.
Cool.
Yeah. So that is how traits work. So
am I crazy, or do we have more traits now?
You got a negative one. You should look it up.
You may well have more traits. I
suppose both of those could be true.
Cleona has a negative trait because of, so one of the things that happens when your shadow level meets your hope level and you go into despair and then you go into a bout of madness, you do not fully recover. Something happens to you and you are marked by the shadow permanently. So in addition to that permanent shadow, you gain a trait that describes the way that your character is now. And not only you can use traits, but I can use traits. And that applies especially for shadow traits. So Cleona, I believe yours is resentful.
Yep.
Yes. So you have just a little bit of a noticeable level of resentment to you that you didn't have 5 years ago. You've been marked by the shadow, as has everyone, but Cleona, it has taken this particular form.
Right.
Cool.
But here we are, finally, in Roscabel. Everyone has returned and spoken to everyone else and shared their greetings, and you are summoned to Radagast. And if you remember, Roscabel looks like this, and that stand of trees on sort of the north side is where Radagast makes his home.
If anybody cares to wonder, Cleona does not look much too pleased about being summoned. So
Hmm.
he's a little resentful, I suppose.
Oy.
Yeah, a little resentful.
But she's actually picked up a little bit since she's got to see you guys again. So
Yeah. It's nice to see the Fellowship all together again. Radagast addresses each of you one by one and asks how you are, and he knows you by name now, which, if you remember way back when, he certainly didn't when you first arrived in Roscabel, and it was hard to even get an audience with Radagast at the time. Radagast then, I think, turns to Baranor, expecting that Baranor is the natural leader of this party, although if someone would like to step up and present themselves as the leader instead of Baranor, they may do so.
Baranor doesn't think that he's the
I know
leader.
Baranor doesn't think that.
Well, I
Yeah,
know in
yeah.
some parts I'm known as Rufus King Talker, but
yeah, Cleona kind of like
I think that Baranor is probably the better equipped to deal with this.
Cleona like takes
situation.
the haft of her axe and like pokes Rufus a little bit in the back with it to push him forward.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Radagast.
Hello, little one.
You
It
wanted to see
brightens
us?
my heart to see you.
And
Yes,
you?
Baranor.
How are your trees doing?
They are
Cleona loves when Rufus does this.
perhaps not as good as could be. There are dark things in the forest that move in the shadows cast by the trees of Mirkwood. And in fact, I require a service of all of you. I need someone to take a message to Lord Elrond of Rivendell.
Elrond,
Yes.
is he?
Mhm.
Urfirn, is he your king?
No, my friend Rufus. He is not. We believe he is the other side of the mountains.
Are you telling me? Well, you know, Radagast, it does sound like a very important task. And I do have extensive experience talking to elf kings. So, I suppose, I mean, I can't do this task myself. Wait, Radagast, is this a sort of thing where we might have some time perhaps to go back and meet with me pappy again? Or is it likely to be one of your extended tasks again?
I will require nothing more of you than to deliver a message to Elrond. But he may have some need of you as well.
Oh, yeah, those elf kings are like that. Well,
Is not the location of Rivendell somewhat secret?
It is.
Mhm.
Rivendell, Elrond called half-elven for his ancestry, although he chose to live as an elf, unlike his brother. Elrond bears one of the 3 rings made for the elves. There are 20 great rings of power, 3 for the elves, 7 for the dwarves, 9 for kings of men, and 1 that we shall not speak any more of. Elrond bears one of these
Baranor?
rings.
Baranor, is that the one that went to the hobbits?
I don't
Mithrandir.
believe so.
Oh,
Oh,
Mithrandir, you said?
no.
You may have seen him, but he would go by a different name.
oh yes, Gandalf.
Gandalf, or the Grey Cloak, or the Grey Pilgrim.
He's well known in the Shire.
Yes, he's an interesting man.
See, he's got the one that was supposed to meant for the hobbits. He's a friend.
He is a friend. He is much like Radagast has become for us.
Oh, I see. Well, how hard is it to get to this place?
Allow me to grant you the blessing of elf friend, which, despite not being one of the lords of the elves, I would consider it in my power to give.
Oh,
That will make it far easier to reach Rivendell. For if you were not invited and were not beloved by the Eldar, it would be very difficult, as the will of Elrond worked against you.
well, anything you can do to make this an easier task?
Does this
It
blessing
sounds right.
come with? Does this blessing come with like a baggage to it?
Only the baggage of all friendship.
Oh, Cleona sighs at that.
And so Radagast produces from under his robes a sealed letter, and he holds it out towards Baranor, but not actually giving it to him yet. If one of the others of you would like to be the one to take it, you are welcome to step
I think
up.
what I'll do is I'll look up and see it's clearly too high for me. Oh, that makes more sense. Baranor's more careful with that. Maybe he should carry it.
I reluctantly, I kind of take a hesitation, look at everybody, and then I reach out and I take it, and I stuff it next to my heart, basically.
Baranor, have you been here before?
To Rivendell?
Yes.
I have not, but kin of mine have. I have once traveled with one who was raised among the elves there.
I see.
I don't. Are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it too early?
This is too early. A little bit too early.
87. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he's his father. I may have known his father.
You probably knew his father Arathorn, and you knew that Arathorn was a friend of Elrond.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'll convey.
Yeah.
But I've never met him.
All right. So none of us have been there, but we got a blessing from Radagast. It shouldn't be too hard then.
I
How will we
suspect the
know
way
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult and hidden.
it will be perilous.
Oh. Why can't anything be easy anymore?
That is a
Cleona
good
just rolls
question.
Cleona rolls her shoulders and says, "I've been hunting and tracking for these years. I can find anywhere."
Well, see? So glad you came, Cleona.
She smiles out at the little halfling.
Together we will reach our destination. Radagast, do you have any wisdom about how we may reach Rivendell?
I, in fact, do. And what Radagast will do is he will let you make an easier. So, if you remember, you make an embarkation lore roll to gain success dice that you can use throughout the journey. And Radagast's wisdom will allow you to make a less difficult lore check.
I'm picturing you all sitting around a table looking at a map and little Rufus saying, what y'all looking at?
Cleona
And
can't,
finally standing on a chair.
Cleona can't read a map. No.
Right.
Oh, thank you, Cleona.
Yeah. She can't read, so she just boosts Rufus up there.
She's
She's more hands-on. So
You see that road right there? That leads right into the Shire. Oh, and if we stop in at the Prince and Pony, oh,
I can see.
does this
I
say
can
Rivendell
see-
over here?
I can see Orofin stepping outside with Radagast one evening, and him sort of like gesturing at the stars and things like that, and Orofin like memorizing some celestial navigation, and maybe Baranor's there as well, you know. And we're like studying some star charts and celestial kind of information.
Yeah, I think Radagast has a great deal of lore that he can share with you. So we're about to embark on a journey.
Cool.
Everybody is going to make a TN 12 lore check to get
that's about my speed.
a certain number of success dice to use on the journey.
Right.
And we are going to switch the music to travel music.
And just as a reminder, sorry, do we decide to spend hope before or after making rolls?
You spend hope after making rolls. You spend success dice before making rolls.
Got it. Okay, cool.
All right.
Everybody's on the mountain pass screen.
Yep.
We are.
Yes.
Excellent.
Goodbye,
So-
Radagast.
The 12.
TN 12. So Rufus gets no success dice. Orphan, you get 2 for
Nice.
a great success. Baranor, you get 1. And Cleona
She
None
doesn't
for
have
you.
any lore, so.
doesn't have any lore. So now what you need to do is decide who is going to take what roles on the journey. So
Right.
if you remember, you have a guide, a huntsman, a scout, and a lookout man. Technically, you could have multiple people take any of the roles except for guide. You can only ever have one guide, but since there are 4 of you, you will have 1 in each role.
Right.
And then we will roll some travel checks to see how you get on.
I know.
Which one should I take again?
I forget which skills are associated with each of those roles.
Well, luckily, they are written on this handy dandy cheat sheet.
Uh-huh.
What sheet?
Can you not see?
Oh, I need to zoom out. Never mind.
Okay.
Oh, I know. Now I
Oh,
see
yeah,
it.
but
The guide uses travel.
There we go.
The huntsman uses hunting. The scout uses explore, and the lookout man uses awareness.
Right.
Okay.
The core role that you all make is travel. You make travel checks based on how far you go. These essentially determine if you roll an Eye of Sauron and a complication comes up, what skill you use to try to prevent the complication from hindering.
So I think I'm going to be taking Lookout Man again.
Okay.
That's the only thing I'm even halfway decent at.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not bad at Scout too. I've got that as a favored thing.
I've got travel as a favored thing, so I can be the guide.
So who's? I've got 2 points in awareness and 2 points in explore, which is.
I am favoured at awareness. So I'm also quite nimble and a good shot.
Well, maybe I'd be best at Scout then.
Okay.
They'll never
That
see
makes
you
sense.
coming.
Right.
Hide in the tall grass. Yep.
Now, the successes that we generate at the beginning, Arlen, are collective or are they individual?
So the success die that you get, they are technically individual, but can be shared with permission. Shall we put it that way? So Baranor, if you want to give a success die to somebody, you can just say, "I am aiding Cleona or Rufus or Orphan," and they get to roll. Remember that you have to declare that you're rolling an extra success die before you actually make the roll.
Right. Okay. Cool.
This is quite the travel music.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Let's hunt some
you're
orcs.
adventurers.
Right.
Let's hunt some orcs. Exactly. Hopefully you don't run into any on the way.
We shall see.
We shall see. Maybe Cleona hopes you will.
Oh, she always wants to kill orcs.
Yeah, I hope she resents the orcs as much as it resents everything else.
Orcs killed her husband, so yeah.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
We are ready.
Ready.
For
All right. Excellent. So we're going to start with 2 travel rolls made at TN 14. And that is going to take...
I'm sorry, I may be asking something stupid here, but you said that Radagast's lore had an impact on our target number. Is that what made it 12 instead of 14?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, actually, it would be 16 because you're going to have to make some TN 16 checks when you're actually going over the mountains.
Oh, boy.
Because it's not easy to travel through the Misty Mountains.
I agree.
So his lore is going to reduce all of the
No, his lore reduced the check to get extra success die. His lore is not going to do anything for
anything beyond that. Okay.
any of these other situations. No.
All
Got
right.
it. Cool. So everybody makes 2 travel checks. Is that
Everybody makes 2 travel checks at TN 14.
Oh, everybody. Right.
Everybody. Yeah.
hey? Not too bad.
Where am I here? Travel. Oh, I'm quite good at that.
Oh, look. I made him. I didn't get tired this time.
I'm sorry, TN 14.
TN 14 for both of them.
Right.
And this will take you to the
Oh,
foothills.
I'm quite good at that. Look at that.
Yeah,
Nice.
Huge success and a
Yeah.
Gandalf rune.
Yeah.
I learned from the best, Orphan.
Clearly.
All right. And number 2. All right.
Ooh,
Great
Wow.
success.
you bumped up your
Impressive.
travel. Holy cow.
Stupendous success.
Somehow that seems appropriate for Burrows.
Hey, we're getting every step we take gets us closer back to Pappy Burrows.
So,
That's right. He's
For
going in
every-
the right direction.
yeah.
That's
For every failure, you will accumulate travel fatigue.
Mhm.
Each failure is worth
What's this
the.
failure of which you speak?
Well, not everybody is quite as good a traveler as you are, Rufus.
Yes.
Oi. Who's dogging it then? I've got small feet. Keep up, will you?
I'm
So
trying,
I think
Master
it's
Burrows.
so Orphan failed once.
Yeah.
Baranor, did you fail just once?
Yeah, once.
Yep. And then that's it. Okay. So you gain travel fatigue equivalent to the rating of your travel gear. This is
Right.
feeling the weight of what you are carrying heavy upon your shoulders as you make your way up through the Vale of Anduin, along the eaves of Mirkwood, and to the very foothills of the Misty Mountains. And you see something very much like what you see on the background here.
What does
These-
the Gandalf rune do on that roll?
Oh,
Gandalf runes on these rolls are just automatic successes.
Oh.
Gandalf runes in combat rolls, if you remember, there are special rules based on the roll of your feat die.
Oh, right.
Um,
What about my great success I got here? Does that do anything?
That doesn't do anything special except make you feel extra good.
Oh.
okay, I got 2 really good
Do you
ones.
feel extra good?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm telling you the whole history of the Burrows vineyard. Yeah, and then in 1612 we had a really great year. A little bit of an early frost, which made the cider quite sweet.
Now I
From
know I have
Hobbit,
fatigue.
Hobbit banter.
Apparently, Cleone enjoyed it a lot. So
Nice.
I'm feeling the weight of our task weighing upon me.
Yeah, Baranor, and I think you feel obviously the letter itself is not physically heavy, but it weighs upon you,
Yeah.
the meaning.
Yeah.
All right. So you've reached the foothills of the Misty Mountains. It's time to cross the mountains themselves.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
This is going to be 3 travel checks, this time at TN 16.
Jeez.
Oh my. I may have spoken too soon.
And once again, same rules apply. Any travel checks you fail, you just add to your travel fatigue.
Right.
could I invoke tracking to see if I can pick out an easier route to travel? Following the paths of the beasts and men?
I think that's good. I think, why doesn't everybody reduce one of those rolls to 14? So it'll be 1 roll at 14 and 2 rolls at 16.
Nice, Cleona.
Well,
Yeah, that's smart.
That's good. That's a good that's an excellent use of a trait.
Right.
Yeah.
Number 1.
So, Alan, you
No
said
problem.
the travel fatigue was tied in with the amount of stuff you were carrying or
just
something.
the travel gear.
Just the travel gear, not everything you're carrying. So you have
the 2.
encumbrance fatigue and travel fatigue. Encumbrance fatigue is your war gear, so like your bow and your sword and your armor.
I see.
Travel
Right.
fatigue is based on your traveling gear. So everybody has summer traveling gear. If you have ranks in song, you probably have a musical instrument. That should be worth 2 encumbrance for everybody.
That ain't good.
So my travel fatigue is 2 because of failure.
Yeah.
Now, or if I got that right.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody keeping track of their successes and their failures.
I have.
Yeah.
So sorry. The travel fatigue is 1 point per failure.
2 points per failure.
2 points. 2 points.
Because that's the summer gear is 2 points of encumbrance. Winter gear is 3 points of encumbrance. So winter you gain more
Oh.
fatigue as you travel.
That's quite a lot.
And then Cleona
Mhm.
rolled an Eye of Sauron.
It did?
Ooh.
You
Uh-oh.
did.
No.
One eye. So that means that there is a complication as you are passing over the Misty Mountains. And so let me find the page for generating complications,
Right.
because it may take a minute since I have not read the book in
I
as
can
much
help here.
detail this time.
I'm starting to look.
All right.
There I go. Going
And
through.
It's all happening at the moment that Baranor is finally feeling like we've made it. We're almost have crossed the mountains, and everything may be fine. When
Hazards?
something happens.
Hazards. Yeah,
Page
hazards
160. 160.
Yes.
So Baranor, you are quite at home in the mountains, are you?
Ooh.
Yes, these are part of my lands, but they're still, of course, very perilous.
Baranor, there's not another way we could go around here.
I wish there were, young Master Rufus.
It's twice as high up for someone like me.
That's a fair point. I hadn't thought of it that way
But
before.
it's 4 times the story, though, right?
This is true. If I can get there. I'm not sure I'll have the voice or the air to tell it, though.
I know one thing. Of all of us, you're the one who will make it.
Oh, that's very kind of you.
So
It's because of me dwarf shirt.
That's it.
This thing's damn heavy, though.
I'm going to let you guys choose. One of you is going to have to make a travel roll at TN 16.
What's the consequence?
Not great.
None of your damn business, Kev.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'll try it.
Has anybody got higher than a 2 travel?
I got 3. I'll do it.
I'll let he do it.
He's headlong into danger. That's what me pappy always said.
All right, Rufus.
What's it, TN?
TN 16.
16.
Because we're
Oh, yes.
traveling through the Misty Mountains.
Oh, that's high. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Oh.
Excellent. Glorious. Nice. Nice job.
24. That's your number.
Roll 20 knows that he's a hobbit. somehow.
That's right. And it's a great success, too.
It is a great success.
What
Rufus, why don't you describe how you taking on extra duties, supporting the entire party, you expend energy in such a way that if you did not have such high spirits, you would be completely wearied. And for those of you who do not remember, wearied is a mechanical condition where on the success die, if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, it counts as a 0, which means it's a lot harder to succeed. And in particular, things get a lot swingier.
Right. All right.
But Rufus, you are able to take on these responsibilities without taking the weariness. So how do you do it?
I think that, let's see.
She's on my shoulders.
I am not much of a traveler. I'm not much of a warrior. I don't really have all that good of eyesight either, but I'll tell you what I do fine is I make a fine supper. And every night, what we do, when we make supper, I make sure to do what my old ma used to do. And I sing a song. And that song is something where I insist that everyone else sings along. So as we're making dinner, everyone's got their part. Orifin with his lovely singing voice, Baranor with his deep baritone, and Cleona with her surprisingly melodious voice.
Yeah, with 0 in song.
That is quite all right. Effort is all that counts, as me mommy said. Pappy said, the best things taste with only the effort. It's what you try. And that's what we do.
Yeah.
Even though when the weather turns cold, when the wind is blowing over this mountain, we're still, every night we get a nice hot supper. We get some lovely vegetables cooked just perfect. And we have a lovely song beforehand.
Nice.
That's what
I'll even
I love
accompany
it.
you
It's
on the harp as well, and I'll just
lovely.
yes.
Hey,
Nice.
Arlen, with all these travel checks, we're building up skill groups and movement, aren't we? So we're getting proficiency?
If you want, I'm not worried about advancement points. I'm not sure if we're going to do a third one or not. We shall see, depending on how this goes.
We'll see if we survive.
Yeah, I might.
I'm Rufus Burrows the third.
Right.
You can mark the points if you want. I don't care either way, basically. Okay, so now you are moving down on the far side of the Misty Mountains and attempting to move into the Vale of Imladris. So, Baranor, because
Baranor?
you...
Where is it that I can spot the Shire? Is
Why
it tomorrow?
when?
When, that's right.
It's a ways away. Quite a distance to travel before then. But I think you will be very happy when we reach Rivendell.
All right.
Cue the right music.
Exactly. It's great to have the music. I'm sorry that listeners at home, you don't get the music, but like I said,
you're listening at home.
you know what it's like. Everybody has heard this music a bunch of times.
You know, the most difficult challenge we might face then would be a copyright strike.
Exactly. So
it's probably for the best.
This is the good thing about the way that Hangouts does audio for Roll20.
Yes.
So, Baranor,
Yes.
you will have to make a travel check at TN 14 to find the way to actually go towards Rivendell itself as you move into the valley.
Okay, so
because you are the guide.
Yes. I have as my cultural oh no. Oh, I didn't take that. Right. I changed it. Okay, yes. So one thing I do have is Lore of Arnor as a trait.
Yes.
I don't know. So can I use my knowledge of this land, or is this just such a hidden place that it's not really?
So mechanically, I will tell you that you are basically already using Elf Friend.
Right. Okay,
that's why it's a TN 14 check.
Got it.
Otherwise, it would be quite a bit harder.
Yes. Okay. Here we go.
In order to assist, do the elves maybe leave signs that a keen-eyed fellow such as myself might pick up on at all?
They do leave signs. That's actually what you're looking for. Unfortunately, there's no rule for using multiple traits. So, like I said, you're basically already using a trait to get the TN 14. Otherwise, I will tell you that mechanically, what it would be is you would have to make travel rolls until you rolled a Gandalf rune on the feet die.
Gotcha.
So you have a 1 in 12 chance of just stumbling onto Rivendell, or you can make a TN 14 check if you are an elf friend.
Okay. Well, here we go.
So yeah.
Jews.
What are you talking about?
That ain't good.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I think I see another rider in black.
Oh Lord.
I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Did you say Rivendell? I think we'd have showed up in Mordor.
Should have had Rufus make the roll.
It's miles of razor sharp rock. And after
Okay.
that,
Does not
Em and
simply
Wheel.
walk Mordor.
I just want to keep it interesting.
Ooh.
My excuse.
Much appreciated.
Oh.
That's never good.
This is gonna take a minute to do because
now you know what it's like, Kevin.
Yeah, really.
Don't sound too good. Does it?
No.
Yeah. Give me a moment. This is gonna take a minute to improvise.
Of course. Why don't we take a quick break then? If you need a moment.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? That would be good.
Us hobbits have small bladders.
Right.
I'm just gonna sit here and watch Arlen sweat.
Right.
Journey. Yeah.
This is more fun than I thought I remember it being.
This is I love this game so much. It is great.
The music helps a lot.
The music is great. I moved the characters over. GM info. Why don't I just roll like this?
2 sets of tokens?
I
see 2 sets of tokens.
Yeah, 2 sets of tokens. There's one for travel over here, and one for combat over here. And you might imagine why we are in a situation that takes a little bit of improvising based on that.
Yeah. the whole Bushwick Brother Fellowship actually came out to me the last minute. I was like, this looks pretty cool. Let's make up something.
Yeah. All right. That's that. I need to use the restroom as well, so I will be right back.
Looks like we stumbled into a fight.
Yep. Sure does.
All right. I am back.
Nice.
Oh, that's because I'm on the wrong layer. Did that do it? Have to watch the stream, and yes, it worked.
Is that Amon Hen?
Amon Sul, isn't it?
Amon Sul.
Amon Sul.
We took a wrong
it is.
turn.
So
You said go north, right?
if you roll a complication, there's the random complication, the random hazard generator if you roll an I. So we unfortunately did not have this one right here on that other page. So I had to move us over so that we had combat stances available. Because Baranor, you're going to make a TN16 travel check, and then I'm going to tell you what's going on.
Okay, can I had generated a success die.
You did.
You can use that. Employ that now?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I will use my knowledge of what the lore that was provided by Radagast to steer us through this wrong turn.
Yes.
Is this going to be a scene of a bunch of ringwraiths bitching about losing one batch of hobbits and finding another one?
Exactly.
I can't believe we lost that damn hobbit. Hey, oh, what's this then?
All right, everybody, shh. Hide.
All right. Baranor.
Yes.
Do it.
Oh, I'm going to use an automatic success.
Hmm?
So I was going to use
no success die, meaning you roll an extra 6-sider.
So how do I make that happen when
So just roll regularly, and I will roll the 6-sider for you.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'm going to need it.
Yeah. So if I get a 3 or higher, you succeed. And I got a 3, so you're very lucky.
Glad I spent the die.
Take that, ugly.
That is very good because Baranor, you after moving a few days into the foothills, realize that you've gone further south than you intended. And suddenly, from up ahead, Orphan, who is on watch, holds up a hand. Everybody pauses, and you can hear guttural noises coming. And everybody is gonna roll stealth.
Do those noises sound like orcs?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the TN? Arlen?
TN 14 for stealth.
For stealth.
All right.
Does my nimbleness help me at this juncture?
I'm small.
You're small. I think Rufus can succeed automatically with small. I don't think Orphan can succeed automatically with nimbleness.
Okay.
You should be smaller, Orphan.
Well,
Cleona.
apparently Cleona
Oh,
is too excited with the thought of killing more orcs that she doesn't hide very well.
Was it a 14? Was it a 14?
14. 14.
Now, if she were to use...
Oh,
an orphan too. Okay, well...
An Orphan 2.
Orphan
So-
caught hold of her and is holding her back from just charging them.
Hypothetically, you could
to-
spend
Yeah.
hope and add your attribute rating to that roll. I don't think that a 6 is high enough to get there though, because you'd have to have an attribute rating of 8. And I think the highest
Yeah,
anybody
I don't
has
I have a favorite of 8, and I can use that because I think that's a favorite.
is stealth favored for you.
At least no, it's not. Okay, it's not underlined.
Yeah.
I have a 7, so it's really close.
Man.
You almost could spend hope, but you're not quite. So
I've only failed by a bit.
Right.
Oh man.
No, wait,
This-
Cleona.
They only saw us a little.
Oh, more than a little.
So Cleona and Orphan, both of you are unable to hide. And despite the fact that you crouch perhaps behind some bushes or some rocks or something, suddenly you hear a shout and you see rushing towards you a group of these guys right here.
Is it elves?
It is not elves.
Oh.
One of
Is
them.
it dwarves?
It is not dwarves.
It's a good try.
Is
So
it- Well,
we're going to do combat.
Right.
All right.
Remember,
Alright.
if
Are
you
we on
remember,
a combat? Oh, we are on a combat sheet. Right.
we-
Oh, those
we have
guys.
a combat sheet right here. That's why I moved this over to Amansul, because I didn't have a combat sheet on
Oh, sorry.
the
I
Misty Mountains one.
just kept looking at the picture of Amansul.
Yeah.
Like, that looks quite
picture.
lovely.
Yeah.
So
All right.
if you remember,
I'm gonna fight
forward,
defensive
open,
again.
defensive, rearward
Right.
determines both your difficulty to be hit and to hit the enemy.
Right.
Because there are more enemies than you, I get to pair up the enemies with you guys how I want. Rearward means you cannot be attacked in melee as long as you have at least 2 heroes in melee for yourself in rearward. So Orphan, you're probably going to be in rearward, I expect. And Cleona, yep.
Question: do we get to change like missile weapons first before they get close?
You do get an opening volley.
Oh. Do I have anything? It's a missile weapon.
Um,
I've got a bow.
You've got a bow.
now.
Orphan, you also have a special ability that you
Yeah.
get to make
Additional
an extra
opening volley.
opening volley. So Orphan will get to make 2. Everybody else will get to make 1. If there are any orc archers left after the opening volley from you guys, the orc archers will get to shoot at you guys.
That's
I
not
can't.
good.
I can't seem to move my dude.
Is Orphan not?
He's there.
Yeah, I moved
he
him.
at? I
I
can't
moved
select
him earlier, but I can't move him now.
Is that is it a different token?
Looks
I don't think so.
maybe
I
it's on the
can-
wrong layer.
Try moving it again.
No.
Nothing. I can move it here. Let me just recreate the Orphan token because it's easy enough to do.
Right.
Okay.
While you're
Orphan-
doing that, can I just say how much I enjoy playing this game? It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I am having a blast
fun
too.
game.
We're in a little bit of danger of running overtime. I'll tell you, because we're going
I
a
don't know
little.
why.
We're going a little more slowly than I expected.
Well, that's part of the
Well,
fun of
did
this
you
game, though, isn't it? Of
and
finding.
I'm guessing it. Yeah, we
I was thinking about that. Like, that's
to,
just a lovely. It's wrong to think of this game as a destination-focused game. It's the journey.
No, it's very much the journey. And we
that's
had this
true.
random combat encounter that is very. Let me tell you how unlikely it is. I rolled an Eye of Sauron on the 12-sided die to cause a combat encounter to happen, which, if you
Wow.
remember, happened after Baranor rolled an Eye of Sauron to have a hazard happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's great.
I am a big
love it.
proponent of random combat
random encounters,
So
and now
Yes.
it comes
That's-
back to you.
this is
That's
sort
true.
of
Yeah.
turnabout is fair play, as me Pappy always says.
All right. So, opening volleys. Opening volleys are resolved at. Let me open up the character sheets for the goblin archers and the orc soldiers.
Isn't it
Opening.
set at a set target number?
Yes,
range?
target number. A set target number. All range attacks are at 12 plus parry. For the
Right.
goblin archers, parry and shield is 2. For the orc soldiers, parry and shield is 4. So the orc soldiers are T in 16 to hit. Goblin archers are T in 14 to hit.
Right. I'm going to focus on the goblins.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Let's say Orphan. He's the one with a multi-shot.
Right. Let's see if he takes him down.
Okay. Where do I roll now?
You click
Under weapon
on
skills?
the weapon skill, the little die by the specific weapon skill
Right.
Where's that? I can't pass that.
on the
Just
left.
below your skills. Under
Oh
weapon
yeah.
skills.
Yeah. It's the little dice symbol's really faint.
Yeah, it's very.
Right.
Okay,
it's
so
light gray on
yeah.
light tan. Okay,
I'm
so
thinking. Can I pick out the leader at all? That's my.
there is
my
a
usual
leader.
stunt.
You can't tell for certain that he is a leader, but he is the only one carrying a shield with a symbol on it, and he has a strange red kind of oval shape on his shield. And like I said, all the other shields are plain. So,
Do you have some combat music?
let me
Moria.
see. I have, I think, some combat music.
Is it Drums in the Deep?
I have A Knife in the Dark.
Oh, that sounds good.
That's a perfect one.
What I want to try and do is I want to get off. See, I've got two success dice, right?
Yeah.
And I would like.
You actually don't have 2 success die. We're going to roll battle to determine how many success die you have. Those success die are for travel. Thank you for reminding me. We all need to roll battle at T in 14.
Oh, I've apparently learned quite a bit from that battle at Woodtown. Sorry, TN 13 or 14?
14.
14.
So
It's
Cleona gets
reindeer.
no extra dice. Baranor, you get 2. Orphan, you get none. Rufus, you don't get any unless you want to spend a point of hope, and it's not worth it to spend it here.
Nope.
I'll just tell you.
Nope.
So Baranor, you have 2, and remember, you can give them to anybody for their actions. So Orphan, you don't have any extra success die unless Baranor wants to give you some, but you can make 2 shots, and you can shoot at whoever you want.
I'm going to give Orphan one right off the bat because I know trying to take some of these down off, at range is best for us. So I will give one of my 2 successes to Orphan right now.
All right.
Okay. Well, what I was trying to do, and it might be a bit of a long shot, is I wanted to just have an opening shot that would really put a kink in their stride,
Well, this is a time to talk about the rules for called shots. So called shots are special attacks. You have to get at least a great success for the called shot to do anything. If you get a normal success, that is a success where you beat the target number, but you don't roll any 6s on the 6-sided dice, then it doesn't count for anything. A called shot has special things that it does. And for instance, Orphan, on your bow, the called shot is Pierce, which means that you automatically cause a wound, or not automatically cause a wound. You force the enemy to make an armor save or take a wound, in which case, if they take a wound, they automatically die because these are just orcs. So you could make a called shot using your extra success die and have essentially 4 chances to get a 6.
One sec.
Yeah, of course.
That's quite good.
Yeah.
Sorry. See, I've got deadly archery as well.
Deadly archery allows you to spend hope and get extra points towards the target number. Deadly archery doesn't make it easier to do called shots or anything like that, unfortunately.
Okay.
But also, I will say,
And a stinging arrow.
You have stinging arrow. You can spend a point of hope, and it will fly up to twice its normal range, or spend a point of hope after a successful ranged attack using a bow to produce an automatic piercing blow, like the called shot, except in this case, it costs a point of hope to do it.
Oh, okay.
You also, I will say, you have a foe slaying woodland bow, which, if you remember, based on the roll of the 12-sider, the feat die, you have a chance of causing a wound to an enemy. And that is the edge rating of your weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Orphan, when attacking orcs, your edge is 7 instead of 10. So it is much easier for you to wound orcs.
So picking out this leader guy would be a good option.
Yeah, so you could do a called shot, you could do a regular shot, you could do stinging arrow after you make the shot if you would like. If you do a called shot, you can't do stinging arrow on it, but you don't need to because it's
And I've got a dice from George.
Yeah.
From
Yes.
Baranor.
Mhm.
He's giving me a steely look and sort of like nodding or something.
Yeah, take him down.
Take him down.
Mhm.
And I'll draw back my bow, taking a bead on his like a weak point at his neck or something like that I've spotted with my keen eyes, and I let rip.
all right.
So it's a 14. Is it a 14?
It's a 16 because it's one of
16.
these orc soldiers.
Okay. Yeah. 16. And then,
Hope.
Were you doing a called shot?
yeah. That was
Okay, so
That was my narrative version.
no
of
sense
that,
in
yeah.
spending hope. I'm going to roll an extra 6-sider for you unless you would like to roll it. You could do R1d6 if you want to be the one to roll it.
No, you can roll it, man.
All right. If I get a 6, this is successful because that'll be 10 plus 6 to 16.
What's the extra dice for?
The extra dice is from Baranor,
Oh, right.
from Baranor's battle skill.
Right. Oh, Baranor.
Wow.
Let's see.
You are
Yes.
very lucky, Orphan,
Excellent.
because that 6 brings it up to 16, which means you hit the target number, and it makes it a great success because you rolled a 6 on one of your success dice.
Nice.
So now this
All right.
orc soldier has to make an armor save against, I think it's 14 for your bow. Let me double check. Injury 14.
Yeah. Mhm.
Injury 14.
Yeah.
Armor check 14. Let us see. That is not good for him. You have just killed
Booyaka!
It is also that.
the orc leader.
That's a wood elf phrase that you may not be familiar with.
Excellent. Orphan, you have another shot to take if you would
Awesome.
like.
And
I give Orphan a nod. Like, do it again.
boom. And I will attempt to drop another orc again because I just
Do you
don't
want
like
to
them.
drop one of the archers or the orc soldiers?
Well, actually, I better leave some orcs for Cleona, or she won't be too impressed if I slay them. I'll take out an archer with.
But maybe a little resentful.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll take aim on one of these goblins with a bit of counter battery fire. So
Called shot again or a regular
Who
shot?
rolled that one? Did you set that up? That's the worst possible roll for you, isn't it?
That's literally the worst possible roll I could do as an orc. Yes.
I will, in fact, do another called shot. Why not?
Another called shot. Baranor, do you give him a success die for this again, or are you keeping it?
Oh, no,
I'm
no,
gonna.
no.
You sure?
Well,
I think we should try to take these things down as fast as possible.
I agree.
I'm pretty good at fighting, so.
okay, cool. Right. So it's a called shot. I zero in straight between the eyes. Boosh. Is it a 14 for this?
14 this time
Yeah.
instead of 16.
Nice.
Ching.
But you have to roll a 6 on the last success die for it to count because it's a called shot.
Okay. Right.
And it's not a 6, it's a 5.
Ah.
So
Plus.
your arrow whizzes. You can see where the fletching strikes this goblin's neck and almost it would leave a mark, but the arrowhead itself passed just a hair's breadth away, and you don't kill this goblin. Baranor and Cleona and Rufus, you each have 1 volley available if you have any ranged weapons.
I do.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'm probably going to take mine towards the last because she's going to be running in and she has a spear. So
Yep.
I think the spear will be the last one to be thrown. So
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take a shot then. Baranor, you want to go first?
I'll let you go first, and then I'll go after you, Master Hobbit.
All right, I'll show you how it's done. Let's see here. It's a 14 I'm rolling against. Is that right?
Yeah. If you want to shoot at one of the goblins, yes.
That's what I want. Right? Take that, ugly. Oh, no.
Oh no! What's
That's
up
terrible.
with you guys?
What do I get? That's my first Elrond.
That's your first Sauron. So after the battle, I will tell you about another mechanic that is going on in the background that is interesting.
It's called Rufus Turns into Gollum.
morale bonus for the other side.
All right.
Oh, no.
Baranor and
Yes.
Cleona.
Go ahead,
Is there no immediate consequence for that?
For that, I have Sauron.
Right.
No immediate consequence.
Wonderful.
There is something that I'm tracking that Elrond.
Guys,
will tell
I
you
think
about.
we're fine here. Don't worry.
Doesn't feel fine. Okay, so this is just open and volley shot. Here we go.
Oh.
Nice. So, what's your damage rating?
So the damage rating
Oh,
on
and
that.
that's probably is that your edge also?
It is. My edge is 10.
Edge on the great bow is 10, so no.
So the damage is 7.
Damage is 7. So you have very nearly killed one of these goblin archers with a wicked shot. You can see it has this arrow stuck in its chest. Black blood spilling out over the ground.
Cool.
Cleona, you going to take your range shot?
Oh yeah. So
You want to try to hit this wounded goblin archer?
yeah, she's going to leap up out of her hiding spot and start racing down. Great axe in one hand, and she whips out a spear and just charges them and
Or
flings it right at him.
completely ineffective hiding spot.
Yes.
And she just roars rage.
Nice. Oh,
Ooh.
Nice.
that's great.
It's dead.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's enough to just kill it.
Yeah, because I think that does a damage of 5. Yeah. And then she's gonna whip out her dagger and just keep going.
All right. Axe and dagger out. Keep going. So now this goblin archer that has not been hit is going to take a shot. Why don't I just roll a d6 to see who he hits? If I roll a 5 or 6, I'll just roll again.
Probably against the hobbit. Come on, tough.
Nope. He's going to shoot at Baranor.
Okay.
Baranor,
sense.
what is your parry rating?
My parry rating is 5.
5. So yeah, not likely to hit, but he has to. It's a T and 17 for him.
Oh!
That ain't good.
And a great success.
A great success. So you are going to take 6 points of endurance loss.
Okay.
Oh my. Is there anything we can do?
I can heal him afterwards.
Oh, right.
And then remember that if your total encumbrance, that is your total fatigue, that's your encumbrance fatigue and your travel fatigue together, is equal to or higher than your endurance, you become weary.
Right.
So
I'm 2 away.
you're close, yeah, but
Yeah.
not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay, and now the orcs come in. One of them on Baranor, one of them on Cleona, and one of them on Rufus. And then this last one at the back is going to shoot at Orphan. But you guys are going to get to go first.
Nice.
Okay.
Why don't we go forward backwards?
Okay. I, being enraged by having an arrow sticking out of me,
Well, you don't have an arrow sticking out of you, really. It sort of slashed by your sleeve. If it had wounded you, it would be an arrow that is sticking out of your chest. This is basically you just spent a lot of energy to dodge out of the way at the last second.
Okay. Yes, and it still pissed me off.
It did piss you off.
So I will unsheath, undo the spell, shring the Hope of the West, and make sure that they see this ancient weapon from the line of Numenor, and attempt to intimidate them, which I can do as a free action as part of my being a ranger.
Yes.
You're in trouble, Morgley.
That's right. And I get to make a battle roll here. So the TN is 10 plus the highest attribute level among all foes.
TN is 10 plus the highest attribute level. Highest attribute level is 3.
Okay, so 13. So here we go. All right. With a great success.
A great success is worth
3 hate points.
3 hate points.
Yeah.
So this goblin archer and the goblin that is rushing towards Rufus and the one that is rushing towards Cleona, all of them falter in their steps for a moment, their swords lower, and suddenly they turn and run. The one that is against you, Baranor, though, you can sense the hate in his eyes grow. He's not scared, he is incensed. So he's gonna taste the bite of my blade. He's gonna taste the bite of your blade, exactly.
Yes, here we go. TN is what for him?
It is 6 plus his parry and shield, which is 4, so 10.
10. Okay. Here we go. Oh my god!
So good.
So this is the time where you might actually want to spend a point of hope, because
I do.
you get a bonus to damage against orcs, if I remember correctly, for Endon Estelle.
That's right. My longsword is favored for me, so I will.
Yes.
So I can't remember what I can I use heart?
No, you use body.
I use body.
Body for all weapon attacks.
Okay, perfect. So that's a 9. So it becomes a 16.
Excellent. So, that means you do. So what do? You do 7 damage for your base damage.
Correct.
You do 3 more damage for your valor rating and extra damage on a successful attack, and 3 more for your valor rating on a even on a missed roll. So either success or hit. So you do enough. How much is that? That's 13?
Yep, that's right.
So how do you kill this last orc?
So I see that he just holds his ground and opens his eyes, staring at me like he's gonna murder me in 2 seconds. And I rear back with the sword 2-handed and come slashing down right across its chest. And it just sort of looks down, and then its chest explodes with blood, black blood, and it drops.
Excellent. And there we go. The first combat of the session.
That's right, you run. You tell the rest of them he's here.
3 orcs
here.
Running off to who knows where.
Well, Cleona's going to chase one down until she kills it.
Cleona's going to chase one down until she kills it.
Yeah. She'll run by, grab her spear, and throw it at him and hit him.
Let me hear.
Wait, Cleona, where you go? Orphan, she's run off again.
She won't be satisfied until she tastes orc blood.
Cleona, give me an athletics roll.
Okay. Athletics, it's favored for me.
Yes.
Can I invoke something to use a favored bonus to it?
You automatically get your favored bonus if you spend a point of hope. That's what favored means.
Ooh, okay.
Could I try and get a shot into one's leg to slow it down so that Cleona can catch it?
Sure. Tell you
So
what, why
nice.
don't you take a shot? And Cleona, you're racing after it. This goblin is moving very quickly. He is very, very scared of Baranor. But Orphan, you're going to take a shot. TN 14. Excellent. A great success.
Awesome.
So, yeah, you get it right through the leg and it falls over onto the ground helpless. Cleona, are you just going to finish it off?
Yes, I am.
Excellent.
Oh man.
Ah, the coup de grace.
So if he wasn't basically killed by Orphan's shot, I think you probably just behead him with your axe. Do you think
Nice.
that's about right?
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Nice job.
Awesome.
So, everybody,
1, 2.
I'm going to pull you back off of this. We're going to go back to the Misty Mountains. And Baranor, you get another chance to try to find the entrance to Rivendell.
Okay.
Before we depart the scene, I just want to, that strange symbol. I just want to make a note of the appearance of that orc mentally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That red oval.
Cleona picks up his shield and takes it with her.
Actually,
Pick up the shield.
And the leader shield, so we can show Elrond.
If you do that, I'm going to make you make a corruption test.
She's gonna do it.
Okay.
Cool.
Make a corruption test at it's. I need to double check because there's special rules for when you take things from.
Can you remind us how you do a corruption check as well?
You roll your wisdom. So the little die next to your wisdom,
Right.
you roll against a target number. If you succeed, you generally don't take any points of corruption. If you fail, you take some shadow.
Okay.
So
what was the consequence of us rolling them?
Oh, the eyes of
Sauron's.
Sauron.
the eyes. Well, Elrond is going to tell you
Elrond's
about
gonna
that
tell
once
us.
you
Oh,
get
okay.
to Rivendell.
Oh.
Right.
He's Elrond. Elrond is not just a quest giver; he's also a tutorial explainer. So he
Excellent.
tells you about all the new mechanics in the game
That
every
works out well.
time you.
Or I
get
got
an
some
expansion.
ideas here. Baranor, just look for a big glowing yellow question mark.
You know what?
That should lead the way.
I now that you point that out, I'd see it. It's went the wrong way.
That's what I'm here for.
So
Great.
Cleona, give me a wisdom check at TN 16.
16. Ugh.
Yeah, it's not good to take shit from orcs.
She's incensed, so.
There we go.
Ha
Nice.
Wow.
It'll
Wow.
take more than a little
Sauron.
orc cooties.
Yeah.
So the shadow, you can feel the tendrils of the shadow reaching out from this shield into your heart, but you have gained a great deal of wisdom on your travels, and you know the dangers of the shadow, and you resist.
I don't
So,
think she would
yes.
actually resist. She'd just snarl at it on the inside and make it back down.
Okay. That works too.
Because I'm kind of go towards her fierceness and, with a little bit of shadow in her heart. She isn't quite resisting it because she uses it. But she's got a
Nice.
little isolated part of herself it can't touch yet.
Nice job.
I was going to ask a question, which is with my Shadow Lore trait, in looking at this symbol, does it look familiar in any way?
It does.
Oh, yeah, I got Shadow Lore too.
So I think Orphan might have Shadow Lore also.
Yeah,
I
yes.
think Rufus is the only one who doesn't. So what you imagine is that this could be one of two things. One is that you can almost imagine that it looks like a gaping mouth of some feral, fanged creature.
Mm-hmm.
Or perhaps these kind of odd tendrils are little bits of fire. They have that sort of swirling quality to them.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Shadow and Flame are the enemies, so
Shadow
may
and
be-
flame.
maybe
What are you all looking at?
nothing for you to worry about at the moment, Master Hobbit.
My
All right.
shield.
Should we stay here, or can we keep going?
No, I think you are right. We should proceed.
I'll just walk over to Rufus and like pat him on the back and sort of steer him away, and we'll head off up the route.
Yeah, Cleona walks over by that goblin archer she nailed and rips the spear out of him viciously and just wipes the blood off. And
Excellent.
follows.
All right.
Awesome.
Baranor, are
Yes.
orcs usually found this close? It seems not good to be right on the doorstep of Rivendell's house.
No, you are correct. They are usually farther north and don't range far from the mountains. This bodes ill for all of man and hobbits.
You don't suppose they're ranging further west, do you?
It seems so. This is ill tidings we will be delivering to Elrond, along with this missive.
Oh, all right.
But you are right. Let us journey forth and find our way to the homely hearth.
Oh, Baranor, you took some damage. Would you like me to tend to your wounds?
If you could, I would appreciate it.
What target number should I shoot for?
I think it is 14. And if it's not, I don't care. So.
Oh, nice.
Boom.
Nice.
How much healing does that provide?
So I'm pretty sure, let me double check, but I'm pretty sure you get to heal back your heart rating.
Heart rating. Okay.
Nice.
So 5. That's great. That gets me almost to full.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Cleota.
It's also useful if you actually get wounded. So.
Yes.
Cool.
Because if you get wounded, you don't actually heal very well. So.
Yeah,
Interesting.
wounds are pretty serious in this system because they represent actually like getting stabbed with a sword.
Okay. Great.
It is useful to have somebody who is good at healing. Life and
Excellent.
death, endurance, and
You hear
hope.
that, Cleona? You're quite useful.
Hunting, healing, killing orcs, you name it.
Right.
And that's a trifecta.
I think that makes you a triple threat.
That's right.
So we did that a little bit wrong, but it's okay. So healing rolls are used for treating wounds.
Oh.
Normally, after combat, as long as you are not actually wounded, you can spend half an hour resting and gain back your heart score. So you gained the right amount of points back, just sort of recovering the energy that you spent. And now, on the next day,
Yes.
finally, Baranor,
Okay.
make a TN 14 travel check.
There we go. All right.
Yay.
Excellent.
Great success.
So you realize where you went wrong.
Yes. Weathertop is not the right direction.
Weathertop is not the right direction. A little too far.
First clue.
But you realize now, and you feel a certain lightness to your steps as you move down into this valley in the foothills of the Misty Mountains. Everybody's going to make one more travel check at TN 12. If you fail, you add your travel encumbrance as usual.
Okay.
Nice,
TN 12.
TN 12.
I feel good about this one.
Easier to travel here.
Right. There we
You
go.
know the dice that we got, them extra, what do you call it, dice?
The success die?
Success die
Yeah.
for traveling.
Yeah.
Do they carry on like beyond Rivendell?
No. So this is one single journey. So you're going to make a lore roll again on the next journey you go on, assuming that you go on a next journey, and you'll get success die on that one.
We're not moving to Rivendell then.
So you might as well spend it.
Well, like
So
I said, Elrond is
I
something of a quest giver.
I might as well use one of my
Yeah.
dice to,
Yeah.
because I don't want to pick up any more fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll
Oh,
do
we're
that.
traveling again too, so we might want stop. Oh, the change of music, I guess.
Unless that's
it's all right,
meaningful.
I'm all right.
Excellent.
Orphan Rufus is really the type who keeps telling the wedding DJ what to play. Could he play Funky Town again?
Right.
No, fuck off. Sit down.
So here we see
comes out with play November Rain and clear the whole dance floor.
Looking down from the hills, you see a collection of these buildings, and you know in your heart, this is the House of Elrond, Rivendell.
Look at that, then.
Expected something grander.
What a dump. That's
It's
quite
better than Rogue's Ball, whatever we came from.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that.
So,
Nice music.
yeah, this is the Rivendell music.
Yeah.
So,
For those listening at home.
for those listening at home,
Listening at home. Stop listening. You're not going to hear it.
you make your way down from the hills to here, and a well-dressed elf greets you at a bridge over a small stream as you walk in, and he says, "My master Elrond has been expecting you."
In
Please.
Western or in other language?
He says it first in Western, and then he repeats it in Sindarin for everyone who can understand Sindarin.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
I thank him in Sindarin.
Baranor? Is that
Yes.
Elrond? Is that him then?
No, but you will know him when you see him.
Oh, I see. All right.
Yes.
I'm thinking Orifin just kind of does like a half bow and doesn't really say anything. Just
Clarendon just stares at him, just deadpan.
So this elf turns around and he walks in, clearly expecting you to follow him into the largest building and into something of an audience hall. And you can see it's not really a throne. It's more like a the chair that the head of a family might sit at a dinner table, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Elrond's seat. And you see this elf, Elrond himself.
Oh, I like that.
So I nudge Rufus.
Clarendon makes a note that says something. She
Oh.
walks like, "This looks like a home.
He's
I
at.
like it here."
He doesn't look all that old though.
Elves do not ever look very old.
All right. And
So
he's he's half man too,
In a way, yes, but he has chosen to be an elf.
right? Do you still have that letter?
Yes, I do. Do you want to make the introductions, Rufus?
Oh, all right. Hello, Master Elf. My name is Rufus Burrows, and we've been sent by Radagast. Bring a note for you. And I do it with as much flourish as I can to gesture towards my friend Baranor.
And take out
Elrond.
the tube and
Excellent. And Elrond says, "Greetings, Master Hobbit. It is always a pleasure to have one of your kin in my house."
Well, it's quite fine to meet you, sir. You're not the first elf king I met, but you certainly are the tallest.
Then he turns to you, Baranor, and he stands up from his chair and he walks over to you to accept the missive. And then he opens it up and he reads it quite quickly. You think he might be skimming it more than reading it with all the words, but you get the idea. Elrond then turns to you four and says, "Do you know what Radagast's letter describes? Apparently,
not.
for several years, an elf of Mirkwood, a Dunlending, a ranger of the north, and a hobbit have done the work of the free peoples in western Mirkwood and the Anduin Vale. For this you have my thanks and the thanks of all my people."
Oh, he means us.
yes.
Well, do you know any other nerds that look like us?
That's quite nice of him.
It's just our honor to serve such as you.
And then
Oh, Master Elrond or Master King. That's quite nice.
his
We've
face,
heard nothing but good things about you as well.
he looks almost crestfallen as he begins to speak again, and he says, "I fear I have a task that requires heroes, and I hope that you are the doughty warriors to do it.
We will do our best.
Aye. We're here to help, sir.
Clearna clears her throat and brings out the shield she took from the orc and says, I bet it has something to do with this, or things like it in your land.
He says, yes, in fact it does.
Mm-hmm.
Radagast's letter also describes a shadow in the south of Mirkwood and further east and south. So here we're on the map of Eriador. Rivendell is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I've got something
I'll
in
ping
the
it
way
again.
Clearna
Um,
kind of grins fiercely, showing a little bit too much teeth, and says, if it involves killing orcs, I'm there.
And Elrond says, and your righteous fury is perhaps misplaced. There have been many, many fruitless victories against the shadow, and I fear that for the foreseeable future, that is all that we will have.
What's that river called?
Which one?
The one with the bridge over it?
Um,
Narswell? Is that what?
maybe.
Down from the Etten Moors. What's that? When where the last bridge goes over?
That's the Brandywine Bridge.
Oh, that's
Last bridge?
yeah. So that's I think that's the Fords of Bruinen. And then-
Orswell? What's that say? I can't read it.
Yeah, something like.
I don't know. The photo is not as big as
well.
Orwell. Right.
Okay.
Now, so you guys see Rufus gets he seems a little more uneasy than usual, as if he really doesn't want to trouble anyone. But he says, Master King, this shadow, do you think that these orcs have made their way over the river going to the west?
And Elrond says, Master Hobbit, what do you know of the history of this land?
Oh, very little, sir. I know how long and how old our orchard's been around, but not much beyond that.
And Elrond turns and he speaks up and he says, Eladan, Elror here, Estelle, please come. And 3 elves walk in. Elrond, you can tell is an elf, but he looks sort of like a man in his 40s. All of these, you know that they are old and wise, but they look more like young men in their kind of mid to early 20s. Eladan and Elror here and Estelle, and they all bear a resemblance to Elrond himself.
All right. Baranor, did I say something wrong?
No, you've done everything exactly right.
And in fact, Orphan, you think about the second woman that you saw in Lothlorien, and you realize that she must have been Arwen Undomiel, Arwen Evenstar, Elrond's daughter.
Well, if I'd have known that, I'd have stayed there.
Yeah.
It's understandable.
And so Eladan has in his hand a sort of rolled up map, and he lays it out on this table, and Elrond gestures to you, Rufus, and to everyone else to come look down at this map. Rufus,
I'll climb back on a chair again.
Yeah.
Pardon my feet, Master King.
And this is the map, and he says, many centuries ago, there was an evil force in Angmar, and it destroyed the kingdom of Arnor, of which your friend Baranor is one of the survivors. Anuminas was once the jewel of Arnor, and in fact, a company of hobbits helped to defend it when all hope seemed lost.
Really?
And this, I tell you this,
people are quite bold.
Because, Master Hobbit, I fear that orcs will spread to many places in Eriador, and we shall require the courage of all the free peoples, including the hobbits, like we did even at that failure at Inuminas.
I see. Well, Pappy said you can't let anyone else dig your hole, so I'm here to help. You just tell us what to do, Mr. King, and we'll do it. Oh, at least I will. I'm sure the rest will too.
You're right.
He says, I require heroes to travel to the Bay of Forochel up here. And he points on the map. And I'm going to ping it a couple times. To retrieve something that belongs to my kin.
What's that?
It is a ring shaped in the form of two serpents crowned with emerald eyes.
The ring of Barahir, perhaps?
It is. It was given to Barahir by Finrod and carried by his son Beren and passed down to my brother Elros, the first king of Númenor. And from him it passed to Elendil and Isildur and the kings of Arnor and Arthedain, and to Arvidui, the last king of Arthedain, who gave it to the Losoth of Forochel Bay for safekeeping when he took ship for the Grey Havens and was lost.
So this is a very precious.
What's this Losoth?
The Losoth are the people that live around Forochel Bay, and the Ring of Barahir has remained with them for nigh on 1,000 years. But he looks towards his sons, and each of them sort of stands up a little straighter, a little taller, a little prouder. And Elrond says, the time has come for it to return to the world. It is a mighty gift, and I do not ask you lightly to retrieve it. But I do ask this of you and your companions, Baranor and Orphan and Cleona and Rufus Burrows. Will you retrieve the Ring of Barahir for me?
Of course, we will do anything to fight back the shadow.
Indeed. You have my bow.
And my axe.
And my feet.
Okay, so let's pause here for a second.
Yeah.
We're running a little more slowly than I had anticipated. What kind of time constraints are people under?
I'm good to do a part 2 at another point if we need to.
Yeah,
Okay.
Me too.
I'm enjoying the hell out of this.
Okay.
I mean, I got another 2 hours I'm open for today, but we want to do another part, sure.
Okay. What about you, Colin?
I'm just about to break the 10 o'clock mark here, so
Excellent.
Yeah, that's starting to get long.
Yeah.
So,
And I would just say I would be happy to play it again because I do love the game and this campaign you put together.
Me too.
Okay.
I have already listed this as episode 2, not the second part. So
Nice.
as much as we'd love to see the end, I think that we would see it as quite a tragedy if we ended the Ballad of Burrows early.
Exactly.
So are we good for another hour for everybody? And then
If we can take just a quick minute break, I'll
check on Emmy and all
as
that.
the hobbits call it, the salle de bain. And,
right.
I'll be right back.
Okay,
right.
perfect.
I'm going to be right back too.
Same.
All right.
I'm really liking Orphan. He's a pretty cool elf.
Just, man. Yeah, he's quite a good shot, it would appear.
Yeah, I'm hoping Cleona comes off as somewhat likable but reserved, or she's kind of an interesting character. Do you like her?
Yeah, man.
Doing a bunch of crazy stuff. I'm trying to make a barbarian kind of character in the setting. So, yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
She's a Dunlading, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's trying to fight against the kind of soon-to-be dark part of their nature. She's eventually going to fall to it. I know it. So that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah. It's better to play these sort of, I guess, challenging sort of characters to.
Yeah, I'm just don't want to go too far with her. Picking up that shield was a bit iffy. I'm kind of tempted to have her use it now.
You managed to pull it off though, so it's good to have the Middle Earth setting, isn't it? That's nice to be in.
So Arlen, that shield that I picked up from the orc, it's probably not a good idea to use it in battle, is it?
It's not. You're going to leave it in Rivendell because Elrond's right about to tell you what it means.
Yeah. Okay. I was thinking about it for a second from her perspective, like it's her trophy. But I know that's kind of like the One Ring working on Frodo. It's just use me, join me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going to be reluctant giving it to him, even though she picked it up for all good reasons. She's going to be reluctant giving it up, but even though she picked it up for good reasons.
Yeah.
But she's still going to give it up.
I do like the system a lot. It seems like it's complicated.
Yeah.
But the way it works actually makes sense for the world.
Yep.
So it's just once you learn it, then you're like,
Well, and it's one of the things I described it as is that there's sort of almost, I think about it as with a lot of systems, there's sort of two types of crunch, and one is how things work normally, and one is how things work as exceptions.
Yeah.
And that, for instance, something like Pathfinder, the how things work normally is really simple, right? It's a d20 plus a modifier.
Yeah.
It's the exceptions that make it difficult to keep track of because there's so many of them. Versus this, there are very, very few exceptions to things, but sort of core mechanic is more complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
Which core mechanic is more complicated?
This one versus, I was comparing it crunchiness wise to something like Pathfinder, that the core mechanic of Pathfinder is a d20 plus a modifier, which is really simple, except that there are a billion exceptions to that.
Right. Well, this also has so many little minor rules and minor subsystems.
It has a number of minor subsystems, but they all work the same way, right? Like you do your preparation roll at the beginning of each phase, and you do your anyway. So Elrond says, "Thank you for accepting this quest. Allow me to tell you about the shield that you carry, Cleona."
Yeah, she looks down at it and I thought you'd like to know, and I brought evidence.
In the east, there is a lidless eye wreathed in flame that has unveiled itself in Mordor. This is the symbol of Sauron, who we fought at the Battle of the Last Alliance in the Second Age and who was nearly defeated.
Do we feel a chill?
You do. Everybody, at the end of this, I'm going to tell you about the shadow gain that you might get from this.
Cool.
And he says, but as I said, we have won many fruitless victories, and Sauron was not defeated forever.
Yeah, the moment Cleona hears that it's a symbol of Sauron, she like throws the shield away from her.
Yeah.
Just immediately.
What do you think it was, Cleona?
I don't know lore, Hobbit.
I love this picture of this salamander. It's so pretty.
Elrond, he says to all of you, Sauron has unveiled himself in Mordor. The foundations of his tower, Barad-dûr, were not destroyed, and he is rebuilding his forces, and war is coming. This is why we need the ring that I send for you. I send you for. This is the threat. And now, speaking about game mechanics, what that means is there is something going on called the hunt. And the hunt is Sauron's awareness of you guys as a group. It is based on your stature within the Free Peoples, as well as what your ancestry is. So, Rufus, you don't contribute at all to the hunt because Sauron doesn't give a shit about hobbits.
That's right.
That's
To
good.
his peril.
Exactly.
Baranor and Orphan, you guys do contribute to the hunt because he cares about Dunedain and elves.
Yeah.
It's worth
Furthermore,
noting that's not part of the core rules, though, is it? At least not the first edition. That's something from Rivendell, right?
that's something from Rivendell.
Uh-huh.
And that's because we're in the year 2951, because it is basically like a month or two ago that Sauron has declared himself, essentially.
Right.
Okay.
It's like his quinceañera.
Yes.
Lots of guns firing into the air.
If it was
That's right.
a Dark Lord's quinceanera.
That's for our resident Texan.
What the hunt does is when you roll Eyes of Sauron, Sauron's gaze moves ever closer to the party.
That's cool.
And
Oh,
eventually,
do you mind not count then because of a hobbit?
no, everybody's Eyes of Sauron count.
Well, that's not very good.
And in fact, if Sauron reaches a certain threshold to take notice of the party, bad things will happen.
That's awesome.
There's some stuff that you can do to try to avoid this. So, for instance, try to avoid.
We can roll for look up there.
Yeah. Don't roll eyes. That's the
Okay.
first one.
Number one, yeah.
And second off, don't use magical things. So,
I
for
see.
instance, Orphan, your wood elf magic that allows you to shoot stinging arrows, that touches the fabric of reality in a way that Sauron can sense.
Okay.
And it might be good to avoid telling people that you are heroes going on quests for the Free Peoples, especially so. This is part of where the fun of the emergent story comes in. Baranor, you revealed yourself to those orcs and demonstrated your lineage to the line of Numenor, and then they fled.
Yeah, knew killing them was a good idea.
So
That's funny.
Scientology clinic.
Yes. It is down the street from me. But no.
So, Walter, we're just laughing at your joke there.
nice. So
That's funny.
if that information, say, spreads through the ranks of the orcs, that could get back to Sauron himself and increase the hunt score and make it more and more likely that he is aware of the party.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That's a really cool mechanic.
It is cool.
It is a great mechanic.
I like that a lot.
Just to get to the sense of the scale of that number, do you is it to 100 or just to 20, or is it when does it get really bad?
So I will tell you that your eye awareness started at 5. And the threshold for most of Eriador is between 16 and 20.
Okay. Cool.
But every time you did stuff that raised the hunt score, your hunt threshold, your hunt awareness, the eye awareness is not at 5 anymore. I will just tell you that.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right. Awesome. I like
Is there any way that we can counter it, throw them off? Can we do countermeasures?
No. Remember, fruitless victories. That's the name of the game.
Mhm.
Right. We should have read this
Okay.
box more closely.
Right. Whoops.
Well,
So-
All right. Good to know. We shall be endeavor to be careful.
How do
It's-
we plan on getting back from, or getting to Forakel then?
Walking.
No, that much I gathered.
I would request a horse.
Or we?
So
I mean, are we going along the road, the regular road through Bree? And
Elrond says yes. These lands are safe enough that traveling along the road is the best way to go. Past
Mhm.
Weathertop to Bree, past the ruins of Fornost Arain, and up into the Lone Lands, and finally to the Ice Bay itself.
all right. You know, there's that beer they make at the Prancing Pony. I told you about that, Baranor. I think
Yes.
you'll quite at Orphan. You'll quite like that.
Clearly,
Yeah,
never
so-
been.
Well.
He's actually interested.
Excellent. We shall have a chance to sample this beer.
Right.
It seems.
All right. So, you're going to spend a night in Rivendell. Everybody's endurance is going to heal back to full. I think Baranor's the only one who took endurance damage, so you're
Yeah.
going to be back at full.
Okay. done.
Everybody's travel fatigue is going to be reduced by 2 plus your favored heart rating, because
Okay. Oh.
this is a special place in the world, and the real sense of peace that permeates Rivendell is so strong as to help you recover from what you've been through.
Cool. All right.
And once
It's
we're
a
done with
homely house after all.
it is
Yes.
the last homely house before the Wilderland.
Cool. I'm fully healed in every way.
All right. I think
Fully
most
rested.
people are probably, if not all the way back, very close.
Can I have a quick scene with Baranor?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to find a time when it's just when Baranor's not talking to one of the elves, and when no one can overhear us, and
Okay.
I'm going to show up kind of conspicuously and be conspicuously quiet and keep making some strange, obvious observations, as if I really want to talk about something.
Okay. So
Hey, his house is quite old, isn't it, Baranor?
it is. Could this scene take place in the hall with the shards of Narsil?
We can
I'm
do
fine with that.
that sounds great.
Okay. So I'm kind of there, sort of.
You want to
maybe-
see? So if you remember, let me see if I can find a picture. But if you remember from the Fellowship of the Ring and from the Return of the King, there's this
Right.
beautiful painting or a wall fresco or something of Isildur carrying the shards of his father's sword Narsil, striking the One Ring from the hand of Sauron, and on a pedestal next to it are the shards of this sword that was forged by Telkar the smith thousands of years ago. It has been broken for 3,000 years. And it was old when it was broken.
Jeez.
So
So I'm kind of in a trance, but then I when you start making the observations, I finally take notice of you and Master Hobbit. I didn't see you there.
I'm
You're
sorry,
very quiet.
Baranor. Were you doing something there? That's quite a mural.
Yes, this tells the story of my people and the history of our world.
Oh, look at that. Your people were involved with all of that.
Many people were involved. Many of the elves, some of the dwarves, many of
I
the
see.
men of the West. I don't know if there were hobbits there, but they're very small, so they might be behind people.
Might be.
That was my attempt at a joke.
That's good. Good for you.
I'm learning from you.
Right.
Was something on your mind, Master Hobbit? You seem preoccupied.
Oh no, I don't
Go
I
ahead.
don't mean to be a bother, but well, Baranor, I know I'm small, so it's not terribly surprising, but I am feeling I'm feeling quite I'm out of my depth there. I know that Elrond said that there's our people who went and helped that old kingdom whose name I forgot already. But this is just feeling so big.
So Baranor's going to kneel on one knee, take a knee.
Baranor, I don't know half the names that he mentioned there. I know the one I'm supposed to be scared of, but I don't know where he's been. I don't know where we're going. I don't know the places that fell. It's just, I came to get help for me dad. That's all. And
so
I'm trying to be brave here, but
Baranor puts a hand on Rufus's shoulder. Now they're kind of like eye to eye. He's at the same height. It's like, Master Rufus, if it weren't for you, I think none of us would still be alive. I have great faith in you. The size of the person does not say anything about the strength of their heart. We need you on this journey. It's, I feel, the only way we shall all survive and possibly help turn the tide against the darkness.
I don't know how that's going to happen, though.
It is not for us to know how. It is only for us to try. And you, Master Hobbit, are willing to try anything, it seems. But do not despair. Do not despair. There is hope yet. There is one to come who will bear this ring, and he will change the lives of all in Middle Earth. But we must do our best to retrieve this ancient artifact, for it will help him greatly in his struggles to come.
That's right.
And you know this land, I think, better than most of us, actually. So of this journey, you will be our guide, especially to the ways of ale and beer.
That is true. It seems that your people have woefully neglected your studies of the brewer's art.
That is very true. See how much we need you?
Well, all right then.
I'll pull out some pipeweed. And
you think perhaps we could take a seat outside and have a little, show your specials?
I think we should. Let us do that. So we'll head just outside. And
thank you, Finder.
No, Master Rufus. Thank you. And we kind of walk out.
They should really get that sword fixed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right.
I'll just cut from at that point.
Yeah.
That's great. So I found a picture of the image, but then Roll20 told me I exceeded my limit on storage space, so I can't show it to you guys.
Time to pay them.
I know, time to upgrade from a free account, but I'm not going to do that in the middle of the game.
Right. That's funny.
Okay.
We all know what it looks like.
Everybody who knows.
If you're watching this stream,
if you're watching this
sure,
stream, you know what picture we're talking about.
As the Pappy Burrows always says, it's not likely their first time to the rodeo.
Exactly.
Not likely. Okay. So shall we travel towards the Bay of Forochel?
Sure.
Yes.
Thanks for that too, Arlen and George.
No,
that was fun.
That was great. And that helps. We can slow down a little bit because we're definitely not going to get to the end of what I have written out for the story. So let's keep it this pace, and we're having a lot of fun doing lots of role playing. And
hey, if the professor took 3 books to get from one spot to the other, far be it from us to try and rush things along.
That's true. And it took him 30 years. So
I'm going to be in my 70s.
We're 5 in so far.
Yeah. All right. So we are we on the right map? We're on the Ariador map. So you guys are going to travel along the road past, I think this one is the Fords of Bruinen, and this is the bridge.
You know what me pappy says? We go over the river, then through the woods.
Are we making do we have a destination?
Free.
To whose house? To the house of Bree.
Can Elrond help with the roll again? There's
with
lots
the lore.
Seems like there's lots of books in here.
He can definitely help you. He and Eladan and Elrohir and Estelle, all of them do their best to brief you on what you can expect as you travel.
All right.
Along the East Road, out here, past Weathertop to Bree and the Inn of the Prancing Pony, and then up along the Greenway north.
Elbow Orphan.
Yeah.
The Prancing Pony. I told you.
Yes, the prancing pony, Rufus. Yes.
To the ruins of
I look forward
Fornost-
to it.
Fornost Erain, one of the fortresses of Arnor that has been sacked. And there are ruins there that are not yet occupied by the Rangers of the North. And then you will go up through the hills, through along here, through the Lone Lands, all the way along up until you get to this nice red X that I've drawn. You guys can see the red X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can.
Do we have a sense of
Yes.
how long of a journey that is total?
In total,
Yeah, like days, weeks, how many? About
it's
if with nothing going wrong.
So you have a sense that it's going to take a while. It's none of the individual areas are as difficult to cross as the Misty Mountains were. The Misty Mountains themselves were very difficult terrain, so they slowed you down way slower than you would be moving normally. Even up here in the Lone Lands, the terrain is a little difficult, but it's not nearly as bad, so you're going to be moving faster.
Okay.
You are, however, going a pretty long distance.
Yeah.
So,
How dangerous is it?
well,
I suspect that fortress could cause us problems.
Mm.
I don't like the look of it. My
So-
time as a warden tells me we need to beware headed into those hills.
All right.
this
Right.
stuff down here where I'm pinging along the East Road, this is pretty safe. So
Mhm.
Rivendell is right here. So the area around Rivendell, although you did run into those orcs in the Misty Mountains trying to find Rivendell. So these are not as safe lands as they were at one time.
All right.
But this is pretty safe territory. As you get past Fornost and into the Lone Lands, you get closer and closer to Angmar, and Elrond tells you that the Witch King of Angmar no longer resides as lord of that territory, and so the orcs of Angmar are disorganized. But with Sauron's return, things are going to get worse.
Right.
For thousands of years, there has been no kind of central force of evil that acted as a unifying power for the shadow. And that has changed. That has changed for the first time in 3,000 years.
Oh. That's not
So
good.
Nope.
the forces of shadow are going to be strengthened and organized. And your passage through the Lone Lands, the longer you wait, you can't wait in Rivendell to recover anymore, because you need to move before. You also know that not only is Sauron powerful, but he is cunning, and he does not just rely on orcs. He also relies on some other things. And Baranor, do you want to say something about the rider that sent you on your quest originally?
Yes. So there was a rider dressed all in black that moved through the code files, which you can see above the Troll Jaws north of Rivendell here.
Mhm.
As I was scouting alone, and he was on a steed of pure black as well, and I sensed something about the shadow related to it. But my greatest fear is that it's another of the kind of the Witch King, an ancient wraith-like figure called a Nazgul.
What's that?
It is a once a man who has succumbed completely to the shadow by way of a ring that had been, I will say, poisoned by Sauron himself in its crafting to turn the user against himself and become a servant of Sauron.
Yeah,
This,
so
this
You
ring we're
encountered
getting.
this, huh?
Go ahead.
You encountered this
I,
rider.
I saw him from a distance. He did not see me, or he did not make it seem as if he did. I could not catch up to him for a closer look. He disappeared. But
And this was in the Cold Fells.
yes, which none of my kind have seen in countless years. I am not sure what it is, but it was worth investigating and bringing up to Radagast.
So you said it's a ring that did that to him.
Yes, exactly.
So there's rings that do that, and there's rings that like what Gandalf's got. The ring that we're going to get, is that something we should be worried about?
According to my lore, no. It was not crafted with the help of the Dark Lord. Although, to be fair, the Elven rings, the knowledge of how to craft those did involve Sauron, but
Wait,
yes.
The enemy made them rings that they're wearing.
No, he gave knowledge to the Celebrimbor.
yeah, so Elrond can step in here and he can tell you that there were 20 great rings of power made to safeguard the races of Middle-earth. 3 were made by Celebrimbor alone, and they're the 3 rings of the elves. 7 were made with Sauron's aid for the dwarves, and 9 were made for kings of men, also with Sauron's aid. Sauron alone crafted 1 more ring. This ring was cut from his hand by Isildur at the Battle of the Last Alliance after Sauron beat his father Elendil to death with a massive mace and smashed the sword. And that broken sword, Rufus, it was broken at that battle. And Isildur used it.
That's that sword near that mural.
Yeah, Isildur used it to cut the One Ring from the hand of Sauron. The One Ring has been lost for the 3,000 years since.
You know,
the 9 rings that were made for the men, kings of men, transformed them into the Nazgul. And with Sauron's return, they will spread over Middle-earth and attempt to spread the shadow to every corner of the world.
So he didn't think of making none of them rings for hobbits then?
No rings were made for hobbits.
Huh.
None of the 20 great rings of power.
Well, Pappy always said that we're always thought as a bit of an afterthought. So
That's,
I suppose,
appropriate.
both the great and small think of us that way.
Well, you are the youngest of the races.
Well, Baranor, I'm beginning to think I understand what you said there.
Well,
Though
and
I still think you should fix that sword, though. Seems like it'd be quite handy. You should consider that, Mr. King.
I take that advice with more weight than you can realize.
You see, he's quite sensible, isn't he?
Yes, it's good advice.
I think it comes
Cleona,
with
you've
his...
been quite quiet. Are you so worried about that shield?
Can't believe I've touched it.
Aye.
Knowing that it was Sauron that reached out to me when I did so is humbling. So
Right, but you did resist it though, right?
nothing takes over my mind.
See? So that's a way to think of it then.
But we will face many more orcs on the passage. It is a long journey there and back.
True. Just means you
Yes.
got lots of opportunities to add to them notches of yours.
That is very true.
I'm sure you will.
She's she sits back and she's kind of reserved, like she's taken in the whole depth of the journey and what it's going to mean to her. So she just she knows she won't see her daughter for a long time.
Mr. Elrond, is it possible to send letters back?
Where would you like to send a letter, Master Hobbit?
Well, there's some of us who might want to send letters to the west, and there's some of us who might want to send letters to the east.
Whatever you would like to send, if it is in my power to send it to your intended recipients, know that it will be done.
They're quite nice, quite hospitable, you elves. That's what Orphan always said.
That's right.
I don't suppose I can get some stationery.
They don't call it the last homely house for nothing, Rufus.
So I'll scamper off and get some letters, and I'll gently suggest to Cleona that I'm happy to write a letter for her if she needs it sent to the east.
Cleona, her daughter can't read, and it's very unlikely the Bjornings are going to teach her to do so for at least a decade.
I'm sure that someone from them woodsmen seem lettered. Someone might be able to read it to her. Or when she reaches the right age, she'll read that letter from her mom from that time.
Yeah, I believe I will send word back and let her know the destination should I fall and she wants to reclaim my axe.
All right. Looks like we got some writing to do.
Okay, so yeah, Cleona will take him up on the offer because her penmanship is not that great.
I can imagine. Probably looks like my handwriting.
Well, I'm no Baggins, but I can at least make me letters.
Excellent.
All right.
Alrighty.
Are we ready to travel?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Any chance on getting ponies?
So, Elrond tells you that with regard to that hunt thing, Sauron is watching the elves most closely of any of the races of Middle-earth. You could take ponies from Rivendell, but there is a danger that essentially anything passing out of Rivendell into the wider world is going to be noticed, including you guys. You guys have to go, so it's not like you can avoid that. But he basically says, if you really want to, you could. But let me tell you that the game mechanics would encourage you not to do so.
What I can say, Cleona, is that if we make our way to going into Bree, riding one of them magnificent things, when everyone else is riding nags and such, it's going to be a sure sign that people might want to pay attention to us.
Okay.
Seems to me that both at all three of you and Finder and Orphan, you'll prefer to keep a much lower profile.
Yes, and in fact, that is a good point, Master Hobbit. Perhaps we should return to calling me by my common name of Finder when we were in public.
Well, is that not the one you prefer?
I have been called both over the course of my life, so I am happy with either. But in these times when
he's genuinely confused. He thinks your name's Finder and you're just going by some fancy name.
I see. He's not wrong. You call me whatever you wish.
Suppose we can always pick up horses in Bree.
Yeah.
Could pick up horses in Bree. That is, yes. It's always a possibility.
Is there any way we could I play down my elfish appearance in any way? Maybe.
No, you're just too pretty, my friend.
Let's see.
I know it's a curse.
So what you can do is you, I think that when you were in Rivendell, you were given one of the cloaks of the Galathrim, one of the grayish cloaks that the elves that travel from Lorien into the Wilderland wear. Very good disguise in the sense of blending in, makes you difficult to notice.
Okay.
And you know that's basically the best you can do.
Yeah.
But people aren't gonna look at you and immediately say, "Oh, he's an elf." They're gonna sort of look at you and think, "There goes a sort of man that looks a little strange, a traveler that I can't place why, and doesn't seem as important as it should be. So I'm just gonna move past it."
Well, that seems exactly what's required.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
I think we're ready then.
All right. Let us begin traveling. Actually, we need to make lore rolls. Elrond and Elror here and Eladan are going to help you with your lore rolls. They're so good at telling you about the lore of this place because they've lived here a long time. Lore rolls are going to be at TN 10.
Cool.
Ooh, I'm glad it was.
Yeah, Clara just wiggled her nose.
And we're rolling lore or
Yeah.
Lore.
lore, right?
For extra success die for the journey to Forochel.
Here we go.
Clara wriggles her nose and says,
shit.
the only lore I'm good for is Beast and Shadow.
I've apparently spent too much time writing letters. No, I've got my third uncle on my cousin's side. I need to get to him too. Hold on. Now, what's that you were saying about the road?
Don't worry about it. I think we have it covered.
You've got it, Baranor.
Yes.
All right.
So, Baranor gets one. Orphan gets one. Is that it? Yep.
Yeah.
So, I need to stand up for just a second.
Yeah.
But I will be right back, and then we'll make some travel rolls.
Cool.
All right.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Alright, plan the downfall of the DM.
All
The
right.
Warmaster. Oh,
I'm waiting. I'm slowly. So once you did, you were Kev when you were doing like a sort of review of RuneQuest.
All right.
Or an unboxing or something. I can't remember if you mentioned it.
What
of RuneQuest?
What did I mention about RuneQuest?
Just that you were taught. You mentioned it, and then I started buying all the books one at a time.
Awesome.
Every day, literally every day, a different book has shown up because the next day I order a new one. I'm like, oh, that's.
I've been waiting for like Aberrant is one of those games that I missed back in the day, and then they happened to have a copy of the core rulebook at one of the stores I was at in Winnipeg, and now I've got like everything for it between Noble Knight and Sentry Box here. So I can't wait for later this weekend. I'm hoping to dive into that shit. But
yeah, totally.
That's awesome.
Fun. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Arlen.
Okay,
We're back
so
then.
travel rules. You move pretty fast going along the road, actually. So we're going to do a first travel roll at TN 16, which will get you to the Weather Hills right here.
Hills. Right. That's that's far.
16? That
Sorry,
seems a little rough.
This area is heavily wooded and stuff, and it's a little hard to.
16. Here we go.
16.
Come on. Hey!
Nice. We got a couple of great successes
And
so far.
Orphan.
Nice.
So Cleona is the only one who's feeling the weight of the road as you come to Weathertop. And here we are, and we should. Yeah. I'll put you guys back into your spots.
Am I quite thick that I didn't realize that we were on both sides? I'm looking now. I'm over here, and I'm over here, and I'm over here. Cool. All right. First roll down. Where are we going next?
Roll down. Next roll is to get all the way to Bree.
That place is Amonsul, you're saying?
This is Amonsul.
Oh.
Okay.
Beware of orcs.
Aye.
So everybody's going to make another travel check, this time at TN 14.
14.
Ooh.
Yep.
God damn it.
Jeez.
Great success.
Eye of Sauron.
What was weighing heavily on your head there, Cleona and Baranor? Thinking too much about that ruined place back there?
Yes, that's unsettled me.
Just the sheer weight of what we're doing.
That's true.
Hmm.
Orphan, you don't seem bothered, though.
No.
This is the farthest. Yeah, go ahead.
I can still feel the influence of Rivendell.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what you got ahead of you, too.
Yeah, this is the
Indeed.
Butterbur beer.
The prancing pony.
That's right.
This is the
Me and
furthest.
Barnabas Butterbur were like this, I say.
Yeah, this is the furthest Cleona's ever traveled away from her, where she considers her home now. So
Yeah.
every step is further and further away.
And in fact, Cleona, it's on your shoulders that the hazard triggered by Baranor's Eye of Sauron falls.
Baranor, did you roll an Eye of Sauron?
No,
Oh, no.
I did.
that was Baranor.
I thought we talked about this.
No, I know. I forgot.
Yeah, that's the second one you triggered.
Yeah.
Hey, what's this mouse trap do? Oh,
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
it really
So
is.
what's my fate there, Lore Master?
So what happens is that you are hunting in the woods to provide food for the party when you see a massive stag. And you realize that this would provide a great deal of food for you. But as you step just the wrong way, it looks up at you and lowers its head and charges. And you will have to make a hunting roll to bring it down before it gores you with its antlers.
Oh, my.
Okay.
Ooh.
Alrighty, I can do that.
There we
See how
go.
well I do, and then I'll spice it up.
So
what
the hunting roll will only be at TN 14.
Yes.
Nice
There you go.
job. So your arrow flies out.
Oh, no arrows. I have a spear.
No arrows, the spear. Yes, I think you set it against the charge like a wild boar and take it in the chest. Your spear pierces the stag's heart and it falls over to the side. There is food for all here. Rufus can cook up something wonderful, and you
I can
realize
make some lovely stag stew.
you realize that those antlers would have gored you pretty bad if you had missed.
She specifically takes the antlers and starts whittling and crafting them as she goes on the trip.
Excellent. Yeah. So now we're at Bree. You're going to stay at the Inn of the Prancing Pony, and everybody.
Are you sure you want to stay here, Rufus?
Yes. You'll love this place. I think I might see some cousins here, too.
I don't know.
There's going to be some other hobbits in here, too.
I don't know if it's a good idea.
What could go wrong?
I reckon we all had a little chat earlier and like,
An intervention.
when we get in there, we'll try and tell Rufus that we don't want to stay there. And we tell him
look
it's
at
a
this
bad idea.
place.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's
No,
a
we
little
can't.
taste of home.
Yeah.
We can't
And they've
stay
got-
there, Rufus, man.
Cellar cold. They're serving the Burrows cider as well. I
Shame,
tell
it's
you.
all full up. No, they're out of beer and the beds are all taken.
I'm certain they can make room for us. When they hear that Pappy Burrows' #1 boy's here and his friends, they're going to roll out the welcome carpet for us.
All right, I think
Yeah,
we're staying
go
at the
on in,
Prancing Pony.
Rufus.
Yeah.
Lead the way.
I'm going to be doing some pretty serious carousing tonight and enjoy myself quite thoroughly.
Nice.
I must have cousins and second cousins and third cousins and fourth cousins and fifth cousins. So many people to catch up with.
Excellent. So everybody is the Prancing Pony is it's not like Elrond's house where it is just this incredible magical place, but it has soft beds and a chance to clean yourselves and recover from the weariness of the road. Everybody is going to reduce their travel fatigue by their basic heart rating.
Okay, cool.
What's this travel fatigue of which you speak?
Yeah, so no travel fatigue,
Wow.
not this time.
Gets me back down.
And then after a wonderful night with all of the Hobbit fellows in Bree, it's time to move onward to Fornost Erain.
We
We're
back.
ready.
Well, remember, Elrond said you got to move quickly because,
Yep.
yeah.
True.
Everything I promised, Orifin.
And more.
And more.
Wonderful. We take some lovely buttered rolls with us. Just a couple.
I must confess, it is with a heavy heart that I leave the prancing pony, Rufus.
Me too. But this job's got to be done by proper people, right?
And we'll be back soon enough, I feel.
That's true. The faster we go, the faster we get back.
Exactly.
Cleona's
As
gonna
our
like.
pappy used to say.
How
That's
much would
true.
like one of those small kegs weigh?
We can do that.
Cleona's gonna like secretly buy some and then whenever we're having a bad night or something, maybe break it out.
Cool. Great idea.
Maybe one more travel gear for like 3. Is that
I think
2?
that's a good solution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So another travel check, TN16
Ta-da,
To get-
lads.
There we go.
to get to Fornost
right.
Erain.
Oh, here we are. Sorry, what's the TN? 16?
16.
16.
Jeez.
All right.
No,
Goes
man.
off. Say goodbye to the prancing pony.
I told you this area was going to be
Yeah.
aggro.
All right. Here we are. 16. And... Oh, that's not good. I failed.
A little too much to drink there, Master Hobbit.
Oh, I'm not... Pappy always said that there's never too much cider until there suddenly is. Seems that me Pappy was right.
Good
Of
old
course, he
Pappy.
always said that the only cure for that is more cider, so...
Oh, this is perfect. All right. Emergent storytelling. It works so well. So you reach ruined Fornost,
Mm-hmm.
Look at
the
this.
ruins
Cool.
of a once great fortress of the Kingdom of the North,
Look at this
destroyed
place.
by the forces of Angmar.
Is this where our people fought?
Not here.
I don't remember if you fought at Fornost or Anuminas.
I think it's a Numinos.
I think it's Anuminas too.
I've
That's
got a
probably what I
bad
said.
feeling about
I think I
this.
said Anuminas before, so let's
Yes.
say Anuminas.
Oh, I think so too, yeah.
Okay, so everybody is going to make a corruption check. So if you remember, that's rolling your wisdom
Wisdom. All right.
against TN 16.
Core. All right. Here we are. Oh, that's not good. I'm getting corrupted.
Wisdom. That's up there somewhere.
Oh,
What's this? Oh, that's not good.
Nope.
Now, can we spend
Yeah.
anything on this?
You can spend hope to add your basic heart rating.
It's not gonna do me any good.
So what's the consequence of this then?
The consequence, nobody rolled any Eyes of Sauron, so it's 1 point of shadow.
Temp Shadow?
1 point of temp shadow.
So either I get 1 point of temp shadow or I reduce my hope by 1, right?
Yes, basically.
So I think I'll reduce the hope by 1 rather than accumulating more shadow. What's the bad thing about having so much shadow?
Well, remember, if your total shadow equals your total hope, you become miserable,
Right.
and you have a chance of going mad and losing control of your character and doing horrible things for a little while.
Right. So apart from that, because it seems that both of those would be pushing it towards the same
Yep.
end,
Yeah.
right?
Basically.
So I suppose I'll just reduce me hope.
Yeah. Well, and remember, you reduce
can I
shadow
use-
versus.
Can I use True Hearted? I mean, we're on a pretty serious course here. I've
I
got
think
me
that's
mind.
pretty good. Yeah. Battle of Fornost. Excellent.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's it. Baranor, you tell Rufus about the company of hobbit archers who fought at the Battle of Fornost, and Rufus, that helps you prevent from taking a point of shadow, and you're not even going to lose a hope.
Nice.
Excellent.
If it helps everyone else, I think you guys see me secretly trying to practice me bowmanship.
Awesome.
See me.
I'll give you a pointer.
Lumpkin Croup was at that battle.
Lumpkin Croup. You don't say.
Yeah.
Core.
A legend got all the way to Mirkwood. Tales of the great archer Lumpkin Croup.
Lumpkin Croup. I really need to be working on me.
Hobbit lore.
Right. Well, on me archery too. If I want my name to be known up with Lumpkin Croup, I need to be working on that.
All right. So Fornost Terrain right here. This, unfortunately, is the end of the Greenway.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to make some travel checks for traveling through the Lone Lands to the Bay of Forochel.
Okay.
So 2 checks, TN 16.
All right.
Standard setup as usual. You just take.
God damn it. What is happening?
Baranor,
I
you're a magnet for the shadow.
And I failed both rolls too.
Oh, dang. All right. First one done. Second one. Not good. Oh, I could spend actually, I don't want to spend nothing. I'll take that travel fatigue. All right. We made our way up to Forochel, or to the Lossoth. So we got that shadow as well.
I'm gonna
So-
I'm gonna spend 1 hope on that last roll because it would give me enough to have succeeded. So that
Okay.
I would take only 1.
So one failure, but it's a
Yeah.
hazard.
Correct.
Because it's an eye.
Yes.
Wow. That's interesting.
So that's how it feels.
Yeah, exactly what it feels like.
Wow.
Awesome.
Sauron found us.
Exactly.
Well, it's been lovely playing with you, fellas.
Yes, that's right. It's a perfect end.
As we're crushed by trolls.
I'm going to roll
cold
a
bricks.
d4 to see who this affects.
Should affect the person who's rolled the eye of Sauron, I feel like.
Nah.
Come
It's
on.
going to be Rufus.
Rufus, that sounds right.
That's probably the person most likely to survive, though. So
What's
that's
it
good.
affecting me?
So, Rufus, you are going to check you are the scout. So
I
you're
am.
checking Explore. You're
Right.
going to check Explore TN 16.
Explore. You needn't worry. Pappy says I'm always very good at Explore. Where is my Explore? Oh, I'm not that good. 16. Fortunately, it is my favored thing. So let's see how we do. And I will spend 1 point of hope to get a success on that.
So that's
Right.
good, because what happens is that you avoid. I was having trouble coming up with something that would be such a terrible thing to see that it would make you instantly miserable. Because if you failed, you would be miserable, which is when your hope and your shadow are at the same level and you're in danger of going mad.
Mm-hmm.
You should show me the 1982 film Terms of Endearment. That always makes me miserable. I don't know if it's 1982.
Thankfully, we've avoided that.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's not
Thankfully.
rent that. Let's get
Thankfully.
something else, something more fun.
So yeah, if you had become miserable and then you rolled an eye, you would have had the bout of madness.
Oh, that's not good.
So there's a but luckily,
So I think this is something where what's it that we're doing? I was rolling explore.
you're rolling explore.
What's explore relate to?
Explore is scouting through these trackless lands,
So
trying
I
to
think-
figure out the right path.
How long have we been traveling? Is this weeks or is this days?
I think you've been traveling for on the order of a month now.
Oh my. So I think much as we're accustomed to roaming, these lands are most unforgiving. It's not like taking a stroll through the Shire. This is really quite, and it's after the 5th or 6th day of just this unforgiving landscape. I finally come over the hill and we see a lovely patch of green lichen. And this is just a lovely bit to walk through. It smells nice. There's some spring flowers still. And we avoid that. It doesn't break my spirit. Brings me back up. I think Orphan needs to remind me to get my head back up again a few times.
Right.
Rufus, stop smelling that, he says. Not sounding just like that, but that's what I do.
Nice.
Well, how about we decide to camp here? Then next time we pick this up.
Oh, well, so you guys, that was the last set of rolls. You guys have reached the Ice Bay of Forochel.
Oh,
This
Look
is not
at
actually
this.
what it looks like, but there are no pictures of Forochel that don't have snow because it's called the Ice Bay. You can imagine this more like what someplace like Alaska or northern Canada looks like in the summer, where
Oh.
it
Yeah,
is
like
actually
like Tula.
like Tula. Yes.
Colin and George like, no, no.
I started
What
looking
is
for
this
water.
place you speak of?
And you sort of come over a rise and look down. You can even see the bay out there, and there is a settlement on the edge of the bay. You walk down towards it, and in Weststrawn, out come a party of Lossoth, staffs in hand.
What do they look like?
Well, so there's this picture that I found that is kind of Eskimo-y.
Right. That's quite cool.
Cool.
They probably are not in that heavy winter gear because it is not snowing now.
Right.
But this is what they have to deal with at the worst parts of the year. And this delegation comes out to meet you, having seen you coming over the hill, and they offer you shelter in their little encampment and ask that you would meet with their chief. And we will start next time with the meeting with the chief.
Lovely.
Awesome.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
Cut a helicopter shot of the settlement as we go in.
Oh yeah, this entire session was glamour shots of New Zealand, right? Because it was all travel.
Excellent.
All right then. I'll get out of my accent and get out of my stream here. All right. So let's get out of here and do the outro. Stop screen sharing. Boom. All right. So for those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us for this return to Middle Earth. A big thanks first off to Arlen for running this for us again.
Yeah,
That was a shit ton of fun.
Oh yeah, of course. It's awesome. It's so much fun to run this game.
Yeah.
And you guys are such a great party to run it for.
Wow,
Oh.
come on.
That's nice.
Appreciate it.
The
Shucks.
if you have any comments, questions, or concerns about the session, about the game, or anything like that, please don't hesitate you can leave a comment in the comment section below. You can reach Arlen on, I'm going to add your Twitter handle in the description of the video. I have not done it so far because I'm a fucking Bush League streamer, but I will correct that. So if you have any questions or comments about the stream as well, you can reach Arlen on Twitter. In addition, let's see here. What else? There is a description or a link in the description of the video that is through to something called Heroes Save Villages. And that is the charity fundraising campaign that we run on the channel. The charity benefits, or the campaign benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, which is a really terrific charity that's active in about a little more than 130 countries. It benefits over 80,000 orphan or abandoned children who are living in very difficult circumstances. And from now until July 1st, for every $25 Canadian that you donate to the campaign, you're entered once into our charity raffle. And the charity raffle includes such prizes as the platinum edition of the Waterdeep Dragon Heist box set that's produced by Beadle and Grimm, this amazing like $500 product that was published. You cannot get it any longer. It's this amazing like yay by yay thing that has all this cool shit in it for running D&D 5th edition. We also have a copy of the where this sucker up here that was donated by the good people at Beadle and Grimm as well. We also have a copy of the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition book that was donated by Cubicle 7, the same publishers for this game, as well as a bunch of other neat stuff, including the RuneQuest Glorantha rulebook, the what else? The Legend of the Five Rings Fantasy Flight published game, the 2 rulebooks for Delta Green, and a bunch of other cool stuff. You can learn about it at the link below. And again, for every $25 Canadian, which works out to about $20 American, or maybe a little less than that, you are entered once, and the grand draw will be on July 1st. So,
did you mention Oaths of the Rittermark for this game that we played today?
Yes,
that you could hypothetically win, except that I'm going to win it.
So yes, Oaths of the Rittermark is one of the books that's actually in the raffle. This really awesome sucker here. This is not this copy. This is my copy. You get a much nicer unused copy. So anyway, last but not least, again, thank you so much to Arlen, to everyone else who played today too. This was I fucking enjoyed playing this game an awful lot.
Totally. Thanks for hosting.
Well, and perhaps I should thank the players. So Colin, Kevin, John, George, thank you so much for playing some more of the One Ring. I have so much fun with this game. I feel like a kid on Christmas morning every time I'm setting up to run this game because it's so much fun.
That's
good. Me too.
Same.
No, and that's I like what I was thinking as soon as we started playing is like the joke I made earlier about the serious and it's neither. What did you say? Serious. It's not a serious
and long term.
I'm like, I'm not sure why we would not play long term because I'm having a really good time playing this. So
yeah.
Same. I'll always play at any time, man. Just let me know.
Yeah. Same.
I'll play every other Saturday, so let me know.
Excellent. All right. So then otherwise, let's wrap things up here, and we will be back at a future date. And I'll make sure now that we've hit over 1,000 subscribers, we can actually put updates in the channel. So I will make sure that it's clear on the channel for when the next game is going to be, rather than just suddenly showing up and playing. So anyway, again, thank you so much for anyone who's watching, joined us live, who watched later. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, happy gaming.